Hello. Hey, team. Actually, I'll turn on the camera real quick. Hold on. All right. I'm going to be starting the call with these guys here in a few minutes. Get everything set up on the back end as best as possible. Then we'll jump to the front end, i.e., you know, we will be visible. We'll get all of our ducks and my ducks in a row, and then we'll hit the ground running. The show will officially start in about 30 minutes, give or take. Appreciate you guys being here today. Hope you're having a safe, warm weekend. Been doing everything in my power, of course, to make sure that my pipes aren't freezing and bursting. So far, so good. Cross your fingers, knock on wood. It is cold. I mean, I like the cold, but so far, so good. Yeah, I'm gonna disappear for a few minutes. Like I said, get these guys on the call and we'll start soon. Appreciate you guys being here. See you in a bit. That would be amazing.
And then our barber like explained to us, listen, man, you have to have the right type of color of hair, type of like hair, what's it called? The type of hair needs to be in a certain way for the dye to stick on and look good. So yeah.
I turned on audio. This conversation
Oh,
is
right.
too good to be muted. I had to turn on the audio.
Talking about everything in between. Yeah, Flame's hair, baby. It's not that orange anymore, as you can see. Flame hair.
I mean, your name is Flame, you know?
Yeah,
I figured it was a very appropriate.
Exactly.
Yeah. Imagine if it was gold.
I'm gonna go make a cup of coffee real quick. Feel free to do whatever the heck you guys want to do. Don't
We have a live, right?
don't break the stream. All right, I'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hey,
Late night coffee.
I think it's morning in some
Oh,
places.
that's true. Because EU.
Oh yeah, because you guys are EU. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 8 p.m. here, right?
8 p.m.
Yeah, it's
probably very morning there.
it
But
is
hey,
It's 1 p.m. over in the U.S. right now. Well, East Coast anyway.
Okay,
And
well,
then
soon.
not only that,
Good.
there's like a giant like snowstorm hitting like all of the U.S. right now. So like
Yeah,
I
I've
guess people are
heard.
going through that. Yeah, yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Oh boy. Well,
It's just warmed up here.
Yeah.
we had
Well,
some.
I'm freaking based in Florida. I'm not even dealing with anything. It's hot here, man.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't. We just completely ignored that. So which is
Beautiful.
cool.
So if people can hear us, did you put the post?
Yeah.
Over there? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We got
So
everybody.
we're
Hopefully.
gonna have a nice chat, everyone. Nice chat about World of Warcraft, what has been happening, what will happen, and everything in between with our lovely
dude, I'm not even gonna say anything today. I'm just gonna let you guys. I'm serious, man. I'm just gonna be just kicking back, relaxing.
Hey man, yeah, you went to get your coffee. It's all good. Like we kind of like talked about the fact that the time difference, the time zone difference. Like it's kind of like 8 p.m. over here, and we're still drinking that coffee, slightly mild. But I'm getting the vibe that it's like 1 p.m. in Florida. I don't know, Brule, you're
I'm an hour behind. I'm in Illinois now.
okay.
So for me, it's almost noon where I am.
Well, basically,
how's
it's
the,
daytime.
how's the snowstorm over there, Brutal?
Yeah, I mean,
Is it
it's
okay,
not.
or-
It's weird to say this. I'm actually far enough north to where it didn't really hit us that bad. It's 11 degrees Fahrenheit here right now. It was like -8 yesterday, but not much snow. Just fairly cold temperatures.
Wow.
I have my windows open right now because it's hot in my office.
Well, there you go.
Hmm.
I mean, we love
You
snow.
would know that.
Hurricane season. Do you live in Hurricane Alley, Sky?
No.
Yeah, I'm in Florida, so
Oh,
like,
I
you
moved
know,
from Florida. I moved from Florida
Yeah.
24. I was there. I was born and raised there. I come
Wow,
from
really?
Ocala. Yeah, Ocala is where I grew up.
Oh, Ocala, that's north, yeah.
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 There's don't. It's no. I'm good. Happy to be gone. I was gonna say something. I can't remember what it is. Whatever. My coffee's almost done, so I'm gonna go grab that. And then we'll get going.
Okay, we'll take over once again. Right, everybody, spam the chat. Curse words only. I'm joking around. I'm joking. I was asking Brutal if we're allowed to curse and stuff, and he was cool. It's like, hey man, just be yourselves, okay? But
I don't.
yeah, I know.
I don't know
Like,
if that.
say be yourselves. It's a risky
It
proposition.
implies a certain level of
Yeah.
constraint.
Because like, okay, so Sky we're doing a stream now, so it's not like in the videos where we have scripts and stuff. So
Yeah,
in the
right.
video, it's a different situation.
You can
But
bleep things.
in streams, sometimes you get like carried on by the passion, the wave of passion and energy, and sometimes you like,
Careers get destroyed sometimes.
Yeah, no, that was definitely me last night. I'm telling you, I was maybe getting
Oh.
a little too into it off script. Hey, listen, I'm a script guy. I like following the script, but
oh yeah,
we're going off the cuff today.
exactly. I mean, we tried at some point to do like more freestyle stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard. It can be done, but it's a pain.
Yeah, I'm not that good. I'm a decent speaker. Like I'm okay, especially if I know what I'm talking about. You talk about World of Warcraft, I can go for hours, but on specific points I can ramble. So I gotta like hone it back
Yeah.
in and follow the script sometimes.
Yeah, gives you the structure. Yeah, keeps you
Yeah.
on the line. Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Welcome
but-
back, Brutal, to
Well,
your
thank
podcast.
you. Appreciate it. Hope you guys have been having fun without me. Got my coffee in tow here. Very happy.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, talking
Mhm.
about being ourselves.
Very important. I was actually speaking of yourselves. I was wondering, what does the NZ stand for? I'm assuming it's not New Zealand.
No, I get that
Of
so much
course.
more than I
That's
thought.
the only thing
No,
that comes
it
to
was,
mind.
It's just the initials of my IRL name. So
Oh,
it was
gotcha,
And
gotcha.
I made that name when I was like freaking 12.
Mhm.
And cuz like I was
And it
playing
stuck.
I was playing on like PS3 and I would play or PS4, I don't know. I was playing Skyrim. And every time I would go back to play Skyrim, my brothers would overwrite my saves and delete everything that I did. So I was like, dude, screw this. I'm making my own profile. So now it's going to be NZ Sky as in Skyrim. So that's, I don't even know.
Ah.
We want to be precise.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So we know what it's
Yeah,
about.
it does. Now I just ditched the NZ because I kept getting New Zealand every 2 seconds. So now it's just Sky.
All right, let's do
Must
them.
be. Yeah, go
No,
ahead,
good. No. Listen, throughout this entire show, if there's one thing you take away, one thing you remember, I should say, you can interrupt me. I don't need to finish my thought. I want you guys to finish your thoughts, just for the record.
It was gonna be a stupid thought, anyways. But I was gonna say that Sky probably has a nice little fan base in New Zealand who's always gonna ask him, "Hey, are you New Zealand? When you Aussie? You from down under?"
All right, we're gonna do a mic check real quick. Those of you who are listening and or watching, you can obviously see us. I know that, but how do we sound? I'm assuming I'm coming through loud and clear. Marcellian, how about you?
1, 2, 3, 4. I was gonna curse. I
That's
hope
okay.
I'm all good. Okay.
How's Marcellian sound? Flame, what about you?
Hello, everybody. It is Sunday. What's up?
You're a
likes
little
to
bit
see the
softer than
thing.
Marcellian. Oh, is okay? Those mics are okay. Just making sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
To give it a little kiss with love and passion.
Told him every time. Kiss the mic.
I'm calling you.
And Sky, what about you? How you're sounding good on my end.
Let's hopefully I sound good. Today
Oh,
I
yeah.
had a waffle, little eggs,
Ooh.
bacon, the whole thing, smoothie, and now I'm
Ooh, a
ready for a
smoothie.
nap. So testing, mic, audio test one.
What flavor smoothie?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know. My girlfriend
Oh,
just makes it,
that's fair.
and I sit like an idiot on the couch, and I
I
wait.
appreciate it.
She does everything for me.
It's been given to me, and I will consume it. Nothing
Excellent.
to comment.
All right. We're going to get this ball rolling here. Everyone says everyone sounds good. Flame, can you give me one more little mic check, please?
Hello. Good afternoon.
Okay. I'm just going to turn you up just a little bit. Just a smidgen. There we go. All right. It's so funny. This is the first time I've used my 3-guest layout.
Wow.
But we still have, 3-guest layout. 2-guest layout, sorry, but we have 3 guests. This is nice. I like
Yeah.
this. There's so much more room on the screen.
Yeah, well,
Nice.
I think we should have told you this in advance, but yeah, because we like doing this from our office. We
Better
could have,
quality stuff.
yeah. I told you we talked about having the good camera, for shit like this.
Mhm.
This is the good camera you take on Sundays and all that. This is the camera. Yeah. Couldn't work with that laptop camera or
Yes.
I mean, you had a good
That
camera.
put
at his
2000
house.
and the streaming one.
Yeah. So
Hey, it's
we had a
Lance.
good camera at his place as well.
Everyone say hi to Lance, the other half of the Comeback Kids. He's in chat right now.
Hi, lads.
Hey, what's up?
Hey man, you should have been here, man. Should make like all this, make it like big podcast with like
Yeah.
5 people.
Next season, we'll get both groups on. That'll be awesome. And then actually, I just won't show up. I'll just let you guys literally do everything. Then that'll be a breeze.
I mean, imagine because how many I'm sure you could find a lot of like more content creators who like at least could bring one more. Like Talius and Evertil would be one example. I think Benilar with Matt can be another one. I don't know about Soul. I'm thinking of Soul. Maybe Soul can bring. Yeah, Soul can bring his little robot, like just
Yeah.
for funs and giggles.
Yeah,
that
Bob,
could
yeah.
work as well. Yeah. I don't. Mr. GM would have some struggle there. I don't know. We need to find somebody for him. We're
sure
gonna
he
work
can.
on that, but we
I'm
have
sure-
a couple of examples.
I'm sure he could pull something out of his hat. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready to rock and roll? It is high
Oh,
noon
let's
where
do
I
it.
live.
Ready, Freddy? Let's do it.
Yes,
Nice.
sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Brutally Honest, a WoW podcast is coming at you. Episode 12. Is this 12? I think, yeah, episode 12. Holy moly, man. They all blend and blur together week after week. I am joined today by 3 powerhouses in the community. I don't need to introduce these guys, but I'm gonna introduce these guys. We have Marcellian and Flame in the house, of course. These guys are known for their class guides, their tier lists, meta-analysis across rating, Mythic Plus. I mean, where does it stop with you two? I mean, seriously, you guys seem to do it all these days.
We try.
Am I allowed to say, like, is it appropriate to say that I think that you guys are helping shape the how players approach the game these days? Is that too much? Am I going too far?
Oh boy, that's a big one.
We're definitely very opinionated, I would say, but we try to make a difference in whenever we put out our opinion and what we think stuff is like. This is how we think of it. We interact with the community in different ways, and everybody approaches this way. And if you need some help, we found that this works
Listen,
and stuff like that.
we always say, invite your non-meta spec. They could be a much more better player than that meta flavor of the month, dude. We always say that. We always say play what you find is fun. Okay, so in that regard, we're sleeping okay at night, right?
So, in other words, you're saying play survival instead of BM or MM Flame? Is that what I'm
100%.
picking up?
Oh yeah, no, clearly. I mean, you read between the lines, perfect.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I tuned into your stream. Well, I think was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday, right? Or was it this
Yeah, it was
morning?
this
I don't remember. You were playing survival in an Arakara, and I'm just like, oh no, not
The only hunter spec
survival.
left.
Anything anything
Some
but
would say.
survival, please. I'm not a survival fan, in case you couldn't tell. Thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate it, of course. You guys have been extremely gracious and generous with your time today, and you guys have been awesome
Thanks for having us.
in the back end. I'm going to leak all of our DMs to show everyone just how nice you've been. That sounds like I'm being... That sounds like
I
I'm-
would avoid leaking the DMs. If,
That's fine, man. Well, listen, it's a pleasure and it's an honor, actually. So, and it feels good to be on the other side of the
yeah.
microphone, so to say.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Really. And speaking of awesome, we have the other half of the Comeback Kids. We had Lance last week. We are joined by Sky himself, not from New Zealand, mind you. I confirmed that.
True. It's true.
NZ
It's
Sky is not from New Zealand. We sat down with his brother last week, of course, talking about everything. But you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for being here, Sky. You've got such your fingers on the pulse when it comes to the big picture of WoW right now. A healthy dose of player experience. You love pushing back on things. You love discussing things. And I know you said this, I think, right before I started streaming, or recording, I should say. I love when people kind of go off script and they just go in a direction that they're passionate about and what they care about. So please, man, as the show unfolds, just take it away, dude. Just go.
Listen, I'm gonna try my best not to ramble too long and annoy you guys, but I'm sure, just like all you here, we could talk about WoW endlessly for hours.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it's an absolute pleasure to be here, especially meeting Marcilian and Flame, dude. I've been watching these guys. I grew up watching Marcilian and Flame. I know that may make them seem old, but hey, maybe they are a little bit. But I was here. I grew up watching these guys. Me and Lance would always freaking come back from school, be like, "Yo, Marcilian Flame, they put out a new video." That we watched it, and of course, Brutal. I've been introduced to you over the last probably like month. I know Lance is super in touch with like the community of World of Warcraft. He is in everyone's show's podcast. Like I don't even know how he does it. So it's a pleasure meeting you as well, and I'm happy to be here, man. I'm happy to talk World of Warcraft. Like Marcilian said, I'm happy to be on the other side, receiving the questions to answer rather than the guy, trying to organize everything. It's really nice to kick my feet back, actually.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
just do nothing. So I'm ready to just do nothing. So.
Well, please do as much nothing as you want. Yeah. I'm a bit rambly and long-winded myself, so I understand. Listen, 12.0 has been out for the past few days, not even a whole week yet. I think it's probably the first time in a while that WoW feels a little different. I mean, the War Within has been fairly stable within the context of itself and very similar to Dragonflight, but Midnight's changing quite a bit here. So we're going to be talking about that and a whole lot more, and we're just going to dive right in right away. Yep. Here, hold on. I'm gonna try to get fancy here, everyone. Stand by. Let me see if this button works. Hold on. Excellent, lovely. We do have a poll running today so far. Let me refresh this. We have 34 responses from the poll. You can find it in Twitch chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, good luck. I think my buddy Drewish will link it to you in YouTube. But the first question, the first poll was right now, are you logging into WoW because you want to or because you feel like you should? And the overwhelming majority said they want to log into WoW right now. I answered that I'm not logging in right now. Not because I don't want to, but because I've been playing a lot more beta than live. But I'm happy to hear that a lot of people are excited to be logging into WoW and that they're wanting to log into WoW. I think that's obviously healthy for the game and a good direction to be taking things into Midnight. But I want to know, what are your first impressions, guys? You've obviously been doing, maybe did alpha, obviously been doing beta a lot. Like I said, the pre-patch has been live for a few days. I want to start with Marcilian and Flame. What are your first impressions going into Midnight so far?
Well, I'm not surprised by the pre-patch. I remember very vividly the pre-patch for War Within, which was much, much worse than this. So listen, this is the problem with the pre-patch is the fact that it came with all of the I would say big ass changes with the UI, with the cooldowns, the cooldown managers, the damage meters, and with the add-on Apocalypse and all of that. That was huge, and they were not ready for that. If you can get past that, and I didn't find it that tragic, I was maybe one of the lucky ones who didn't have many errors. Like, apart from my Arcane Blast disappearing from my bar on my Arcane Mage, I had no issues whatsoever. I couldn't wait to finally get off the lagginess of the beta servers and back into the live servers and actually feel these changes with the classes. And I had a great time so far, but I was just doing Mythic Plus with friends. So that's,
Yeah, same here mostly. I did actually encounter a couple of add-on issues, but not as many as some would say. It's probably because I would guess not all of them are syncing with the client perfectly. I think the pre-patch was running a different client than the beta one.
Let's make it real. They shat themselves over the pre-patch. It's clear. I mean, there's no denying. There's no looking behind the bullshit. They shat themselves.
Oh yeah,
big time.
I'm not saying about the booster. I'm saying mostly about the add-ons not work. I don't know what goes into things working properly, but overall it was fine. I actually was kind of happy to get out of beta because I've been on the beta.
We've been doing beta a lot, man.
And I just wanted to play my stuff. I've been hyped about Midnight for quite a while, and I just after playing beta and all the class reworks, I just couldn't get back into life and to play the classes that were not going to be the same once the expansion releases. So finally, I feel like I'm playing the actual WoW that's been the WoW for us for about 2 months or more, something like that.
I think the biggest thing is like for people who played beta know beta servers always feel wonky when you play any class because there's that lag that's always on beta servers. You don't have that on the live version. Like when you go into a Mythic Plus right now on the live game on pre-patch, everything feels smooth as butter, and that's what I wanted. I was most anxious for. Like I want to get back to that. Like. And the fact, this is another positive, and then I'm going to like leave it up to Sky. This is another positive with this add-on Apocalypse stuff. Since I did not need to load huge, chunking ass, biting the resources, weak auras out of my PC and game. My game, no bullshit, my game felt so smooth. No, really. And I use RQI. I use it, but it's still, I use RQI, I use Plater, I use Details because it worked, then I dropped it off because like, hey, what am I doing here? Fuck it. So I used a couple of add-ons, but dude, the game felt so smooth.
Yeah, I've had the same experience. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, I want to interject real quick because I've been an add-on fiend forever. I say this every episode, so forgive me, everyone.
Yeah.
I've used weak auras for as long as they've been around. I use 1,000 weak auras. I use 1,000 add-ons. And right now, I have jumped onto live and, of course, beta a bunch. And it's buttery smooth by comparison, man. It's wild.
Yeah. In terms of resources being consumed, it's big. And I know it's not the best. They did not implement the best. I mean, the cooldown manager is, we're going to talk about that probably. But you cannot deny that those add-ons, like especially Details and weak auras, those ate up a lot. And now you can 100% feel it without them, eating that shit anymore.
Real quick, somebody from chat said, it sounds like only Marcellian's mic is hot. Is yours muted by chance, Flame?
It shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I can hear
you guys can tell. Okay. It's fine. We can hear you. It just sounds like his mic is picking up what you're saying and instead of the mic in front of you. But we can hear you. I just want to I want to make you or want to put your worries at ease. I think that is better. Yeah. Say again.
Should be. Well, I'm almost giving it a nice little kiss. It's about as close as I can be without taking a bite out of it.
I lowered a little bit my volume, so I'm putting this.
No worries. Okay. Sky, what do you think, man? What are your first impressions so far on live with the Midnight pre-patch?
Man, it's funny hearing Marcellian and Flame talk. We probably go through the exact same things as content creators and players. Like everything they said is exactly the things I've been going through. Like I've been playing beta and alpha the last 2-3 months straight. I'm never on live, and everyone's always messaging me, "Hey, when are you logging in? What are we doing?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm working. Like I have 30, 40, 50 specs, however many, I don't even know, to go through, test, figure out, learn, study, and go. It's a lot of work. So transitioning finally into now it being implemented onto live, it's such a breath of fresh air. It's like I can actually play live World of Warcraft again, not Mythic Plus Delve Simulator. So it's fun, it's cool, and like they were saying also, I do gotta agree, ditching add-ons for me personally has been really nice. I was really worried at first, just like I'm sure everyone else in this room has as well. But going on to beta, seeing that there was no add-ons, it was really rough at first, but now being implemented now into live and everything's integrated through Blizzard's native systems and everything, it feels surprisingly really good. Everything is smooth. Now classes and everything like that is absolutely a mess. It's a mess right now, and everything's being designed through Apex Talents, and, end game and stuff. So Overall, I mean, first impressions are good. It's World of Warcraft and pre-patch. It's meant to be broken and wonky, hype into leading into the new expansion and everything like that. So I'm good. I'm having a good time. It's fun. It's World of Warcraft again.
That actually raises a good question. Like how messy would you say the pre-patch has been? Because I will say, I don't want to lead the witness, but you know, I guess depending upon obviously A, what type of content you're consuming or pursuing, and B, what role you're playing will obviously that comes into play, because healers right now little different than, say, I'm a hunter than my experience. My experience is it's mostly okay. Healers not so much. So like, how messy do you guys feel the pre-patch is from where you're sitting?
I mean, so far it's been surprisingly better than most pre-patch, at least in terms of its in terms of its functionality. I cannot really talk about healers. I know that they're probably struggling with some visibility issues. I don't know if that's exactly what's going on. I've been kind of DPSing and tanking so far in the pre-patch. I haven't really gotten accustomed to the healing yet. I've healed on the beta with no add-ons, so in terms of accessibility and UI options that we have available to us, I didn't really have a lot of issues, but I also, you know, I'm a beginner healer, so I wouldn't be able to express how, you know, high-end healers would be feeling about it. I haven't rated yet, so I don't know how the raid frames come up, but it's been so smooth that I actually forgot that it was supposed to be like a rocky time in
Right.
in the cycle of releases. So I just kind of remember, like, oh right. There's been some bugs right now, but they just flew by.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it messy, necessarily brutal. I think it was just kind of stale, because there was really nothing happening, right? Like, you obviously you got everything that was promised, basically, for the pre-patch, but we don't have the event yet, right? And in terms of like the healer situation, yeah, it's shit for healers mostly, especially healers that have to track multiple buffs and stuff. Resto Druids come to mind all the time. But yeah, as Flame was saying, like we played healers on the beta. I played Discipline a lot and Holy, and yeah, sure, the raid frames, the party frames are not ideal, and they have a long way to go till they get to some level of customization, not functionality, customization as Cell would do or something like that. But I managed. So I wouldn't go like Doomy all on it. I know it's shit, so it's not in a perfect world. But in terms of like, okay, we know healers have it bad, and hopefully that stuff will be ironed out up until the release of the first season. I'm not talking about the expansion. First season needs to be like, perfect in terms of that. Messy pre-patch, I won't call it messy. I would just call it stale, because you didn't, like, apart from, a lot of Lua errors and a lot of add-ons not working, it's really not much to look at. Let's be honest. Like, and even the event, I mean, okay.
Have you guys, I guess I should ask, run into any Lua errors just using default UI? I have on the beta. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I haven't. I mean, I'm kind of been accustoming myself to and getting used to, because on beta I wasn't using a lick. I wasn't using nothing. I was really gonna like see if Blizzard can handle it to where I don't have to use one add-on. I can do my 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever Mythic Plus. And like, will I have problems? Will I run into gameplay, just basic like feeling of like something being not right, something feeling left out, something feeling empty? And listen, I'm going to speak for myself. I can't speak for everyone, but I felt fine. It was functional. It was doable. It's not like impossible. And I think that's an important thing Blizzard's been trying to do. They've been trying to make it to where the normal everyday player can hop back into WoW either after taking a break for a long time, or, a brand new player, they can come back into WoW and they can do XYZ content without needing a freaking list of add-ons that you got to get into the old interface folder that we used to do back in the day. So from that perspective, no, it's been pretty smooth, and I haven't had any issues from a base normal fresh Blizzard coat on live right now for anyways.
Yeah. I was doing raid testing on Friday, and this Lua error, anyone who did raid testing, I'm curious if this was your experience, but whatever group I was with, anytime we had the LFG turned on to replace somebody who left during raid testing, these errors just kept popping up. and it was killing me because we'd be in the middle of combat, we'd be in the middle of testing a boss, and then boom,
Oh,
this
boy.
and I didn't have bug. I know bug sack, bug grabber. Trust me, I know about them. I didn't have them installed because I don't have anything
Was
installed on
about
Vega
that.
right now. I know about it. Don't worry, I've been playing the game for a long time. It's okay. No, but it's one of those things to where it just kept popping up. I'm like, oh my, how is a default UI doing this? It was driving me nuts. But I'm curious if anyone else has had a similar experience.
No,
But I'm-
I cannot say.
I'm glad to
I
hear
cannot
that.
say I have a. Sorry, go on.
No, you.
I cannot say I had a large issue. I had a couple of errors, but mostly because of just add-ons not syncing properly. I was getting the add-on is preventing this. Do you want to ignore it or disable it? And I got this with just 2 add-ons that I could definitely live without. It wasn't necessarily they were not UI add-ons. They were mostly quality of life, auction house style add-ons, which are mostly fine because I run the basic UI pretty much out of the box. Outside of maybe Plater, I don't run anything else, and I don't think a single issue with Plater so far.
Oh, yeah,
What,
yeah. No, same here. Yeah.
Yep. Have you guys listen, you guys are obviously a big presence in the community. Yep, you got a big channel and stuff like that. So you have a lot more feedback, a lot more conversation going on, like socially speaking, from people tuning into your stream, leaving comments on your YouTube videos. What is the general consensus right now from your audience? Are people engaged, having fun, having a blast, kind of just waiting for the actual expansion to launch? What do you think? Or again, what are you hearing?
It's a good question. I would say that people are more engaged right now than they were prior to anything midnight, and we can definitely see in the comments. Obviously, so the thing about comments on YouTube, a lot of them, like the majority of them, come from the doomers and frustration and all that, because they're super vocal, right? But we do see an increase in okay, this is really cool. I like this, especially when we're talking about some I don't know, fun tanks or fun DPS or what you should main, stuff like that, right? People are kind of expressing that they're very excited to try this and this spec. Now, obviously, that's related to the content or whatever. I would say even judging by numbers alone, because as a content creator, you kind of see this, right? You know when the game is popular and is doing good, your stuff does good as well. You cannot deny that. So you see it, right? And we definitely saw it, right? And this is a strong indicator that, okay, maybe there's still going to be a lot of complaints. That's never going to stop. But I'm almost certain that a very, I would say, sizable sleeping crowd has been woken up, risen. Yeah. And they're not that vocal, but they're definitely, I feel that, listen, I think housing had a lot to do with this, but also the fact that they're simplifying, or they went with this philosophy. They kind of marketed this. We were simplifying the game. We're trying to make you fall in love with the game once again and not have you have a NASA degree to learn a specific spec or anything like that. So they kind of push this, and I feel for a lot of people that's much more enticing to come back to and try it than, I don't know, maybe a new spec. Even though a new spec is really cool, nobody's saying it's not. But yeah, overall, I feel there is a positive wave, just judging by what we see in our little corner of the world, let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know you're about to lead on
I was
to me,
gonna
but
I was gonna throw it
yeah.
to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree, and they're right. I love hearing other content creators perspective on things because I couldn't agree more. Like he was saying, how views tend to go up, community consensus and happiness tend to go up, and it's very true. Views go down, community consensus and I guess depression goes with it. So he's right. And I would say right now, yeah. Things are positive. It's pre-patch. It's a month before the expansion release. This is the most hype time for World of Warcraft you'll experience once every 2 years. So people are going to be eating World of Warcraft content up and they're ready to play because, they're going to give their all. It's a brand new expansion. It's a new way for me to dive in and see if I can't do something different than last time. They're ready to try a new spec and see new content creators and see what's going on because listen, when it comes to World of Warcraft players, most of them, I could say a good majority, don't actually quit WoW. They just take breaks from WoW. I know you guys know that. I used to do it growing up constantly. I would always just take a break, but I would come back to World of Warcraft. So right now, with all the changes to add-ons simplifying the game and then class pruning simplifying, I'm getting more comments than ever from people saying stuff like, oh, I haven't played since Wrath of the Lich King and I'm coming back and I'm excited, XYZ. Oh, I haven't played since TBC and I'm excited. I want to see, they're actually intriguing me. I'm curious, XYZ. So yeah, no, I would say it's very, very positive right now. Things are feeling good. I'm not getting so many doomers as of right now than I was maybe a couple months ago because, you know, during that Season 3 drought, I'm sure Marcillion Flame know what I'm talking about. Season 3 drought was pretty rough. And yeah, no, things feel good. Everyone's happy. Pop a champagne bottle, let's have a party, you know?
It's weird because in like there's like a lot of like I've seen a couple of streamers and but mostly on Twitch where like, man, where's the hype? Where's the hype for World of Warcraft? Because it's midnight. It's like okay, once again, on the internet, you're always gonna have, you know, super vocal people. You cannot judge it by that. Okay, so you cannot make like this is how the ship is like stirring to. No, I will say that usually pre-patches, yes. I wouldn't say it should be the norm, but we kind of got used to this. Every pre-patch comes with broken shit. And you will, because of that, a lot of people will lose the hype of it or something like that. Okay, that will happen.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, when we get close to the launch, then you're gonna see some actual fucking hype. Because right now you don't know, because now we're not flooded with Blizzard's marketing team yet. You know, they started doing a couple of ads here and there, some presence over it, but not that much. You know how that train tends to accelerate once we get close to that expansion, and that gets you happy. I mean, if they're smart, they're gonna bomb us with another cinematic, hopefully, or something in that regards. They're gonna have like a trillion different ads. They're gonna have a trillion different videos, a trillion different streams, promotions, all of that. That's how you build the hype. Pre-patch is, I think their philosophy for pre-patch now is basically, okay, we have a ton of changes. Let's lay down everything here, and up until Season 1, this is very important. I don't think Midnight Expansion launch is gonna have much shit fixed, but once Season 1 drops, that's like the critical moment when most of these complaints, hopefully, I'm coping, I know, will get ironed out. Okay,
Yeah.
so I know the discourse. A lot of people are saying, okay, this is the time to be hype, and I'm a fan of that. I stand behind that. Other people are saying, hey man, but where's the hype? But well, let's wait a minute.
Yeah,
Nothing that much to be hyped about right now.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people. Sorry to interrupt you. Just there are a lot of people that are criticizing all of the stuff that Midnight is coming. But I do have to say, as much as it's worth, going from the initial stages of the alpha and to the end stages of the beta right now, where we've seen the initial versions of the boss timers, the damage add-ons, how the specs worked, how the talents were implemented, and all of that stuff. The way that they are right now, and the way that they hit pre-patch is almost unrecognizable. Sure, there's a lot of stuff missing.
Absolutely.
Sure, it would be ideal, but I feel like Marcelo said, these are just probably going to hit as soon as the season launches, when everybody's going to realize, oh, we actually have 3 raids this season to play through, even though it's still 9 bosses and so on. But I feel like that's when the actual buzz is going to happen, since we have the new Silver Moon, and I don't think people understand or appreciate exactly what the new Silver Moon is until they actually step into it. Just saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of things people are not like they forgot quickly because I think they did a poor job hyping this expansion at Gamescom. We know what that happened over there, like truncated every single bit of announcement. I think they know as well.
Yeah.
They messed up over there. And that was like a huge missed opportunity to build up the initial momentum for the expansion, right?
Yep.
But I feel like steadily they kind of picked up the pieces, more or less. Devoured the Age is definitely a win. Housing is definitely a win. All of the zones, like Flame mentioned, Silver Moon, the new dungeons, some of them are absolutely amazing. They're going to be, definitely wins, plus the raids. What I'm scared about, okay, and I haven't gone into it, is like the story beats. I hope they don't drop the ball, because I'm, a little bit sensitive on that front. I know, a lot of people don't care about that shit. That's fine. But even if you don't care, you do care about the context in which you're playing the game, right?
Yeah.
So at least for that context, that needs to be good. That's all I'm saying.
I find myself not playing WoW for the story anymore, and I probably haven't for quite some time.
Wow, I wonder why, Brutal.
but I'm still playing the game, so you know. We had a viewer question come in from Alex, aka All UI, probably butchering your name, sorry, and they want to know. We'll start with you, Flame. Have you decided on a main yet for Midnight?
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's his.
sounds like it's an Alex that we may be familiar with.
Yeah,
No, so
Alex.
it's funny because when we actually started to do like class content and class guides, it was also when personally I started to take Endgame more seriously, and I started to actually have what we now call a main, your character that you play through the patch and progress through the patch and all of that, and you sink most of your time and effort.
The definitions of a main.
Yeah, exactly, right. And every patch, I changed it, and I think in the War Within, it actually started to become like a meme because the specs, and it kind of started with Dragonflight, but the specs started to change so much in how they're played, what the talents do. People have criticized, for instance, Arcane Mage for being like almost a different spec every patch, based off how they change the talents and stuff. To the point where personally I feel like, bro, I just don't like what they're doing with this one, but this whole thing spec changed so much that it feels like it's a totally different thing that how it's played. So I always gravitate and juggle between one or the other, and no time in my personal WoW history have so many specs changed so much all at once than they are now in Midnight, to the point where I used to be this range player that liked playing these types of range classes because they did this, but now that changed so much that am I a melee player now? Am I a attack player? I don't even know, and it's like 40 of them now.
I raise you Legion.
Yeah, I didn't play
Dude,
with it.
That's fair.
I gotta agree. By the way, I listen. As someone now whose job is it to test every spec and understand and try to just know everything you can about the game, the past few months has made it so hard for me to pick a main heading into this expansion. I am having such a difficult time, and even I've had a blast with healing when I never heal. I've never
Same.
been a healer, and I'm having so much fun with these healer specs, and I can't. And man, I don't want to speak for everybody, man. I think they did a great job with the pruning to make me like understand specs at a quick rate, but then also to master them. You could see there's depth levels there as well. So like there's so many specs right now in Midnight that I'm in love with, like across Warlock, Mage, except for Fire Mage. I know Flame, I could talk to you about that for 2 hours about what they did to that freaking spec. Like, I mean, I can go down the line, but you're absolutely right. There's so many specs that are fun right now. It's very difficult to pick a main. Very difficult.
Yeah,
What about you,
it's
Marcelo?
The ongoing struggle. Well, you know, I cannot say nothing less or more than Flame has said, but I would say that I went through this before with Legion, because Legion was big on reworking everything on specs and stuff.
Rest in peace, Survival.
Yeah,
and
pretty
combat rogue.
pretty much in combat rogue, yeah. But in terms of like choosing mains and alts, it's always been a process, and at some point it became part of like our content. It's like, okay, man, we're struggling with this shit. We're testing all of this. We have these opinions about these specs. Might as well, you know, make some videos about them. We still haven't decided, and you know, I can say that there's a list there. We did a video on that. It's definitely, you know, rogues for me, DKs, mages. I healed a lot on Discipline Priest, and I love what they did with Void Weaver, the big shields and stuff. Like Sky was saying, like healing can actually become fun. There's a chance over there, for real. So it's definitely gonna be a hard one. Probably one of the hardest expansion to actually stick to a main and then go with alts, because you cannot really just play one spec in World of Warcraft. You gotta play more. Yeah. So Alex's question was a meme. We know this has become a meme at this point in our stream. So yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we love you, Alex.
We're gonna jump ahead to the next poll question. If you guys haven't answered the poll, you can type in the command poll. I'm sure my buddy Drush will throw it in chat as well. But the question is, do the combat add-on changes make WoW easier or harder to play at a high level? We'll answer that in a few minutes after you guys get a chance to answer it. I want to talk about combat add-ons, if you guys don't mind. Shift gears a little bit here.
Sure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, we had, I know, right? We had already talked about how like I've been playing with 0 add-ons, which is completely different than how I played the game for 20 years. And I will be installing, you know, various things leading up to Midnight. But do you feel like the combat add-on changes are Are we reducing redundancy, or I'm sorry, not redundancy, dependency? Are we reducing that dependency? Are we kind of taking care of things to where we're not getting bogged down, like you said, with resource hogs and whatnot? Or, and this is going to tie into the next discussion piece, are people finding these really wonky, broken workarounds that are just leading to bigger and scarier problems? Do you guys have a perspective on that?
Yeah.
I think when it comes to World of Warcraft players, and really quick, I don't want to cut you off. They're always going to find a way for a shortcut, man. They're
Yep.
going to find a shortcut.
yeah.
WoW players are going to find the easiest road no matter what. They're going to freaking make a video on it. They're going to put a guide. It's going to go on Wowhead right at the top of the list. How you can cheat the game. You know, like, that's how WoW players are. And I learned that the hard way. So they're always going to look for a way to cheese the systems. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, because, like, of course there's some times where it
Right.
can benefit you, but then there are some times in Blizzard's case where, like, shit, like, they're at it again. Like, we got to fix it. You know what I mean? So I don't want to speak too much on that. Marcelian Flame, you guys can go ahead. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. This is the nature of the beast. The WoW player is an evolving species that will adapt and upgrade itself and adapt. We know this. It's not the first rodeo we've been with this. Okay, it's okay. So, I mean, we have tons of examples on this, but I feel there's like two realities right now. It's a hard question to answer, especially because you mentioned at a high level with the cooldown add-ons. Okay, so that's a hard one to answer. But I will say this. The cooldown manager is insufficient for me. The customization options for the cooldown manager and what I want to track, there's still tons of work to do on that. There's a lot of things that I would love to track for my specs that I cannot right now. I don't like all of the options they've given me graphically. I like to customize a lot. I mean, I like to make my UI 100% how I want to look at it, and visually, it has to make sense to me. This is very, very subjective. Now, cooldown manager, it's okay. You will not be able to do much progress at a high level. I can guarantee that, unless, I don't know, you're just like a super giga ultra player that understands everything in 2 seconds. I don't know. The other side of the reality is there's already tons of options and add-ons that basically look like WeakCores, and RQI, which I love, by the way, is one of them. They basically have a better way of arranging the cooldown manager and giving you more options to track and view it and customize it, right? Much better than what Blizzard is doing right now. So it's not like, oh my God, they invented the wheel or something. No, it's just a way better tool with much more customization options for you to track those cooldowns, right? That's pretty much it. But it looks like a freaking WeakAura. It does. And at this point, we're like, yeah, we're back to square one in a sense that people will just come up with solutions and find replacements for what they got used to for so many years. Because, as WoW players, as species, we tend to like our history, our comfort. We got used to looking at these WeakAuras, majority of us, right? It's weird to play without them. And I'm not talking, when you have to have WeakAuras for Outlaw Rogues or any other specs. No, I'm just talking basis that when I made my WeakAuras, I wanted 4 abilities over there. I just want them to glow up when they were available. That's it. That was my WeakAuras. Simple. I didn't need super giga shit, right? But high level, when you're talking about, mechanics in raids, and everything that translates to that is gone. That is not gonna happen. And even with that being secret stuff, there's still Northern Sky made an actual add-on now. You guys, I don't know if you rated, but if you did, you probably used that pack. People who did use that pack, they have an add-on for that. I mean, people will come up with solutions. So just to wrap it up, there's 2 realities on this. The cooldown manager is okay entry level wise, not complete high level, and it 100% lacks full on customization and more tracking options. You need more shit to be placed in there. And second, they're already out there working. I have my RQI, no problem, and I customize it almost exactly as a WeakAura, with a lot of stuff over there, right? Player works. Granted, not with all of the bells and whistles like it used in the past, but it works. Playinator popped up, which is a really cool add-on for your plates as well, and has a ton of options. Much more. This is the thing. The community comes up with much better tools for your customization needs, for your personalization. You made this game super personal for a lot of people, not only through their attachment to some characters from the stories, or for their main spec or class or whatever, but also for the UI. This is like very true. People are in love with their UI. This is what's appealing for their eyes, right? So I don't know if I answered the question because I just say something.
I was gonna add to what Marcellian said. It's kind of easy to compare the Midnight pre-patch with the War Within pre-patch because the issue of add-ons isn't necessarily a new topic, but it did get popularized in the War Within for a lot of reasons that you may or may not know. Content creators making certain type of videos and comments, we all know, with the huge tooltips and all of that stuff, but it has been a growing problem for years. Now, comparing it side by side, my experience in the pre-patch this time in Midnight has been different because you've asked if it makes high-end gaming harder or easier. Of course, that's a little bit relative because what we consider high-end, is it a numbers game? High-end people can be considered anybody who's not doing keys over plus 10 because that's like less than 30% or 40% of the player base. Does that consider high-end? But I can, if I put it side by side with how it was in the War Within, even with the lack of add-ons, which the basic UI doesn't do an amazing job at showcasing everything that you need, there are, in terms of combat and how it is designed, there are vastly fewer mechanics that will surprise you and that will punish you as much as they were in the War Within, at least in the first season. There are a lot fewer casts to track and to interrupt as opposed to how they were in first season in the pre-patch of the War Within, but also in all the pre-patch.
You guys remember first season of War Within? God damn!
That was rough. So I think what Ian said, it seems like they're aiming for this goal, but what he said is that they don't want the overall difficulty that's perceived by the player to change, but the way that the difficulty is going to be presented will be different since you won't have the influx of mechanics that are very difficult and very punishing to track, but you won't have that many tools to track them with either. And although certain classes kind of still feel like they're stuck in the past where you need a few more add-ons, you need a few more options to track them, in my experience, most of them felt more or less okay, but I also have a much higher tolerance to a more basic UI than your average WoW player, I guess.
Can you guys humor me? Can you actually slide Marcellian's mic between the two of you? I think I'm pretty sure yours is the only one that's live, Marcellian.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
but
slide it between you two real quick.
Hold on.
Let's see. Sliding. Now
Speak-
talk real
speak
quick,
on
Flame.
Hello. How's it going? Is it better? Because I feel like...
Well,
Thing.
get yours now. Get yours now.
I can't
why
tell.
not? Is there like
I really can't. I can't tell.
I can't tell you.
Both mics pick up the same. I just checked on the microphone.
Maybe
on
it's your laptop mic.
Well, what you can do is also try tapping the mic.
Yeah, tap the mic real quick. Yeah. Nope, nothing.
I don't hear that. Try tapping yours, Marcellian.
Nope. I think maybe it's your maybe Discord has your laptop mics as the live thing.
Okay.
We can hear you, but I think it's pretty clear that your mic isn't hot right now, Flame. No
Damn it, guys! Get your mics
right.
right.
No pun intended. Don't feel bad. You're quiet, but we can hear you.
Or
no, we can
no,
hear
I
you.
mean, we can hear you guys. Yeah, it just doesn't have that crisp, brutal static. Mic,
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, that
All right,
beautiful
now.
Shure SM7B.
I've had this mic for dude. The other day, my I think it was Friday. I was streaming, and my kids were home because of how the weather, snow day, and my daughter comes in right before raid testing and just quit.
Nice.
Dude, I don't even know how she did it, and it just broke.
Yeah.
And it took me 30 minutes to. I was so 100%. Like,
100%. These things are built like paper, even though they cost $1,000.
Oh, real quick.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Is it better? Okay,
Whoa.
so how about now?
Okay, now you're a little loud. Crank it. Turn it down. Little loud.
Yo, the quality is better, but it is loud. Yeah.
While we're waiting
that's
on
weird.
while these guys are troubleshooting, I'm actually going to swap over real quick to the to that poll I asked. The poll asked, do the combat add-on changes make WoW easier or harder to play at a high level? We've got 41 responses. Looks like 39% of the people said, it depends on the role. I think that's what I hear you.
Still out? Sorry, still out?
No, that's good. That's good.
Wow.
Flame, what about you?
Good, right?
Hey, is it better now? Is it the same as it
Wow.
was?
Yeah, but
Holy shit.
your mics are-
dude,
your
you
mics are
guys just
working.
Leveled up. Oh
So,
my god.
Let's take it from the top.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that. All right, let's restart now, guys.
Oh goodness! So everyone said, or not everyone, but the majority of people said it depends on the role, which that makes sense. I mean, I know for me, I've been playing without combat add-ons, like I've been saying, so I haven't really felt like I've been struggling. I miss my stuff, but I haven't felt like I've been struggling. All right, cool. Thank you guys for checking on that. I promise you, we could hear you. It wasn't like it was bad, but it was.
Oh,
it
no,
was
it was,
noted. We could tell.
Yeah, it was 100% the laptop mic. That
Yeah.
would make sense because if you could hear me and Flame almost not at all, then it was clear this direction here, make the triangle. But now it should be crisp, right?
Yeah.
We'll get, what's it
I mean,
called? We'll go back and we'll just dub over everything. I can't. There's a term in the audio world where people actors go back in and record over their lines.
You know
Yeah,
what's
we-
funny? Back before I did a YouTube channel, I was actually in like the film industry for like 5-6 years. That's why I know how to edit and do animation and all that stuff, whatever. And there have been times where I've had to do projects where I've had to overdub and get like an actor back in the studio. It is a horrible experience.
Is it really?
Oh my god, it's so bad because you have to get everything right. It is
Oh.
torture. I will never do it again. That's why I quit. Now I do YouTube. So here we are.
And you have to like match everything. Like it's, they
Oh.
don't always make the beat right. Like maybe
So bad.
hit it with beat, and you have to like match. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
know it.
It's horrible.
I
Horrible.
can imagine. Oh,
All right,
boy.
so
Yeah.
here's the question I wanted. We were talking about, you guys were talking about about the combat add-ons and workarounds and stuff like that. So yes, exactly. So here's the question. We lost weak auras and we lost this and we lost that and blah 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 blah. But if add-ons are meant to be optional, which is the intent right now, Blizzard wants things to reskin and whatnot instead of doing that computational stuff. Why does high-end play feel harder without them right now for some people? Whether you're running plus 20s or plus 15s or whatever the case is.
One thing I will say is I think for high-end players, and I don't know if every game is like this, but for World of Warcraft, those high-end players, they want every advantage possible. Any way to get a leg up, even if it's a 0.5%, they're going to go through their logs. They're going to grab any add-on possible, any weak aura pack, any UI indicator to be faster, quicker, smarter, better than the rest. Now, casual players, most of the time, they want to pretend like they give a shit about stuff like that when they really don't. But high-end players, man, they want a leg up. So there's always a way to, I guess, get more information. And like we said before, with WoW players in particular, they're always going to find that avenue. So when it comes to high level of play, of course, I don't think Blizzard would design a boss to make it unkillable with a native like Blizzard situation. But if it's even 15, 20, 25% easier or like a better success rate with XYZ add-on, weak aura pack, UI indicator, whatever, I mean, the high-end player is going to take that road every single time, no matter what. Like that's just the nature of the beast. You want to be the best, you got to do better than the rest, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an advantage game for the high-end players all the time. And yeah, Sky is absolutely right. Like 0.5% gain, they're all in that. There's no question. I don't necessarily believe it's unplayable or unachievable. Let's say like the last mythic boss or whatever, right? It really depends on how they design visually and in terms of audio, everything. Because if that translates pretty much in a clear way, you won't need add-ons or like be dependent on that. But we know in the past they designed some fights, and I know they said that they won't design fights with weak auras in mind. But they kind of did. Come on, and there were a lot of fights where you could not play, like you could not understand. You could not make that mechanic. But what was it? because we had that with when they put the private auras in, and we had
That was Zaborus, but I think
uh,
we might be thinking about Smolderon.
Smolderon. Yeah, that one with the communication with the people who had.
Yeah,
the
that's
ball and
the
stuff.
private auras are basically the first sign that they were looking into excluding as many
Yeah.
external combat add-ons as possible. So this is not a new thing that they just cooked up.
But the example was in Smolderon, like everything that was supposed to be translated to you as a player was orange on orange.
Yeah, that's
color
that's
scheme wise. And it was
coordination.
ridiculous. Like, okay, you're gonna do this, you're gonna make these values secret. And how the hell am I going to read everything when everything is fired? The ground is orange. The mechanic on me is orange. The lines are orange. It's very hard to like make a distinction on, you know. And you know, Ian talks about a lot like the cognitive load when it comes to like, you know, pushing content and stuff. Dude, you get some problems looking at that. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Have you guys done raid testing at all this tier?
We wanted to.
we missed the latest
I-
stage.
well, we missed
We
it.
just couldn't have the time, but
I was able to do it this past. I'm usually not able to because I have to go pick up my kids from school and then do wind down or shout get them cleaned up and get them hey, go eat your snacks and all that fun stuff. But I was able to because again the kids were home due to a snow day, and I did. This is a couple of days ago. The Chimeras or whatever that boss is called. I did the big guy Veracius, I think his name is, and then the Fallen King Salhadar. And anyway, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, that cognitive overload, that having to be aware of what's going on and being able to read what's going on in any given moment. Speaking as a hunter, as a ranged DPS player, it's simple. Like it's
Nice. Ooh.
it's so
Yo,
that was basic, right?
it's so easy, and I'm trying to choose my words carefully. That's why I'm like saying one thing, pausing, saying that, because I don't want to give the impression that I'm dissatisfied, nor do I want to give the impression that it's going to be the easiest thing ever. But I was a little surprised at just how simple it all felt and
Was it Mythic?
was for me. Yeah, it
Was
was
it Mythic?
it was Mythic testing. Yeah.
Wow.
That's perfect.
And
That's perfect.
Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. We're talking about a standalone boss in the Dream Rift, I think is what it's called, and then boss 2 and 3. So these aren't meant to be like the hardest things we've ever encountered, obviously. But I'm curious,
Yeah.
especially anyone who's listening, especially people on YouTube, after this comes out, and maybe someone's discovering this, heck, during, progression a couple of months from now. What do you guys think? Like, do you guys have that same experience, that same perspective? And what about healers? Because I felt like the healers were definitely being stressed more during those fights than, say, I was as a hunter. Anyway, I wanted to get that out there since we were kind of on the topic. But yeah, if you guys haven't done raid testing, it was fun. It was like, oh, this feels a little easier than the last time I raided.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know a lot of people are not going to like that. And again, remember when we talked about the vocal majorities and stuff. I feel this is overall a good sign for the game because personally, I believe the game got overly complicated with the raid mechanics, with the classes and specs as well. This is a good sign. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of things that are still going to be changed in terms of like the mythic raid, and I'm sure there's going to be a couple of bosses that are going to be a headache to play, which is cool. I feel a mythic raid or raid in general should have at least 2 bosses that will be a headache, at least 2.
Yeah.
And usually because that you have to have a challenge there. You have to like bang your. That's part of the tradition of raiding. Do it again and do it again, do it again until you figure it out. It's really cool. That's part of the fun, right? That being said, if this is going to be an easier mythic raid in the sense that okay, people will be able to understand and read the mechanics and what they have to do without being a NASA scientist. I feel this is a good entry to one of, if not the best, end game World of Warcraft has to offer, which is not that participated in, by the way.
Yeah. I just want to say one thing really quick. Like, the truth of the matter is, survey says when things are easier, people are happier, believe it or not. That sounds crazy, what I'm saying. But if casual players and the majority player base have the potential to at least try the high-end and hard content, they feel more involved and they feel better. I don't want to sound like that guy, even though like I like pushing as much as I can to, and I like pretending I'm the best guy in the world. But the truth of the matter is the 0.5%, the 1%, the top percentage, they don't make up the majority, right? So like there's got to be a pick and choose here. Like, are we trying to, appeal to the top percentage where they can do anything they want on their freaking screen, inside a Blizzard game, and they can push Mythic Plus to a 24, and then they can Mythic Raid and have all these weak aura packs, and it's a freaking sound effects simulator going on in my head? Or can it be a game built, catered around casuals and semi-casual people, and give them more of an opportunity to play the game at a higher level, based off things being integrated natively at a good rate, with class simplification being a little bit better and the pruning being better, so it's easy to understand? And then combine that with the fact that bosses and design isn't so overwhelming, because, man, the last few years in retail, it is out of control, some of the boss design. And don't get me wrong, I do love it. I think it's really cool. But if we're trying to appeal to more people, it's way too much for people to understand. Like, you try to go show your friend who's never played WoW, Dimensius, on even Heroic. He'll be like, and excuse my language, he'll be like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, this is ridiculous.
I think you definitely hit the nail on the head there. Is Blizzard, and I think it's evident, and maybe they've even said as much, I don't remember. They are trying to appeal to a broader audience and pull more people in and get more people back. And I'll even use myself as an example. I took a big break during Shadowlands. I stopped after Castenathria, came back a little bit Dragonflight, came back a little bit in the War Within, and then I really started dialing back in around September of last year. So I've been back for 6-ish months. And I want to get back into Mythic Raiding because I've always done Mythic Raiding, or, back in the day it was called Heroic before Mythic even existed. But I do agree. I think that it benefits us to have more people involved and more people invested and more people interested in PvE, whether it's Mythic Plus, normal Heroic, Mythic Raiding, whatever. So I don't think that Mythic Raiders on average want the game to be stupidly simple, but I do think that by especially starting this first tier at Midnight, maybe lower that difficulty a little bit, help people ease and transition back into raiding at whatever level, and then maybe we'll see them crank up that difficulty in the second, third tier, whatever it is. Because yeah, you're right. There's a reason why Weak Auras was nipped in the bud. There's a reason why a lot of people shy away from high level raiding, is because it has become complicated. It has become demanding, and maybe not so much in the best of ways. What do you guys think?
Yeah, for sure. I think I don't really want to call it a necessary evil, but I think Midnight had to happen because the game was going into a direction where, whether or not we wanted the game to be a complex and a mind teaser all of the time, there was only so much they could keep adding before brains started to explode, because the interactions and synergy just became a little bit way too much. And I feel like we really will know, let's say at midway or at the end of the patch, or really at the end of the expansion. But my feeling is that Midnight is kind of like a test run, or at least the beginning. The first season is going to be a test run where they, how they say it, you're going to feel a lot bad before you're going to feel good again. So I feel like they're just pruning everything down. They're just simplifying everything as much as they can so that they can add things to it in a way that the game won't turn into a spreadsheet simulator, into whack-a-mole health bars for healers in raids. At least that's been my experience, and I wasn't particularly enjoyable. We might have to go through a season that's maybe a little bit less than ideal for people. Maybe it's a little bit too simple. Maybe it's a little bit too cumbersome to try to track everything. But I feel like, as much as it's not really our fault and we're not really supposed to have to go through it, we have to go through like a testing period of what Midnight is going to be until they can add. My mind is that The Last Stand is going to be an explosive expansion, which doesn't really say much for hyping up Midnight, to be honest.
No, you're right. No, Midnight's gonna be a great expansion. I haven't had that feeling about Dragonflight. I haven't had that feeling about War Within. I definitely have the feeling about Midnight. This is going to be.
I agree with you.
Right? There's something
I really
looming
do.
into.
Yeah, I think it definitely has when it comes to that trilogy feel. It's like that Empire Strikes Back feel. It's gonna hit. Like it feels like it's like there's a lot of changes happening, and I do see a positive output happening with this. Now, when it comes to Last Titan, and I don't want to obviously get too far ahead of myself years in advance. it's going to be the most difficult to pull off. You know, finalizing a trilogy is the hardest thing you can do in making a little mini saga. You know
Going
what I
back
mean?
to
So,
Northrend, baby. Woo!
yeah, how they
Yeah.
cap it off is going to be very, very interesting. I don't even want to think about that yet because that's stressful. But I do agree with Flame and Marcellian. I think there is a lot of potential with Midnight, with the pruning, the simplification. In a way, doesn't mean classes are boring because apparently everyone has that idea. Oh, they pruned, that means everything's boring, which is not true. But it's going to have a lot of opportunity to bring a lot of players back to the game and try out retail WoW again and give it a shot.
Yeah, you know, you kind of bring up an interesting point because, again, only speaking for myself, obviously, I loved weak ores. I loved being stressed out during mythic raids with really difficult mechanics, so on and so forth, right? But I do find that, like you said, even though things have been toned down, dialed down, pruned, I don't find myself bored or just, oh God, let's just get through this, pressing my 2 buttons. Even in Mythic Plus, I think this first season, this first dungeon pool in Midnight is phenomenal, by the way.
Yeah.
Pit of
Oh, yeah.
Pit of Saren coming back. Love Pit of Saren. The 4 Midnight dungeons. And I've been hypercritical about dungeons for the past few expansions. I haven't loved them. I'm really digging the Midnight dungeons in this first season. Yeah, I agree. Like, even though things have been simplified, things don't feel dumb, which I guess is a good sign.
Yeah, no, I agree absolutely. And by the way, I think you're right. This Mythic Plus pool is freaking amazing in Midnight.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I love Mythic Plus. I enjoy it for what it is. There are times where I want to sweat, I want to push, I want to do my thing. But I can only play it every so often. You give me a couple hours, 2-3 hours here there, and then I'm good. Give me a few days off. I'm not that guy who's. I know a lot of people who do that, like Mythic Plus 24/7. I prefer high-end rating. That's where I love World of Warcraft to death. But man, I'll tell you, I was on that beta and I can play 6-7 hours, go hard as hell, get my thought process down, test any class and role type in the game, and have a blast. I can't believe it. It really surprised the crap out of me. And that's what happened. You know, I did that and then I went back to retail and I actually didn't want to play Season 3 of The War Within anymore. I was like, damn, I want to play beta. Like, I want to play the new expansion.
Same exact way. Now, Marcellian Flame, you guys just launched a video in conjunction with Blizzard, right, about the Midnight dungeons?
The dungeons. Well, that was more of like a brief presentation of all the Midnight dungeons, right? Like to get people up to par with them. They did a great job, man. Basically, like all of the design, both like in mechanics and hopefully. I haven't seen as many casts as prior dungeon seasons. I would say there's still a couple over there, but overall, their picks for season 1 is definitely great.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, I have to say, I actually got emotional the first time I stepped into Mysara Caverns because it was for the first time in years I was in a Warcraft.
Man, it failed.
Warcraft.
I hear that.
I did not know how tired this is mostly a personal thing, but I did not know how tired I was of all of this cosmic technology and all of this tech, and I forgot that I was actually playing a fantasy game and seeing savage trolls doing ritual voodoo stuff and then trapping other things and having a beast mastery hunter for a boss. That's also cosplaying as a survival hunter, by the way. It was incredible. I'm just saying, and it was really good, and I missed that as a Warcraft fan for 26 years. I needed that.
Yeah. I absolutely, man. I think you'd say less, right? I totally agree with you. We're gonna switch gears here a minute. This next topic, forgive me, both those of you listening, watching, and the 3 of you on the show with me right now. I have to be super specific with what I say, and it'll make sense as I say it. I joined a guild called Unbalanced a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to be trialing with them. Didn't know this, but the Restoration Shaman Wowhead Guide Rider, Herrick, is on that raid team. Nice guy. Had never really met him before. Well, Herrick, and here I'm going to bring up some stuff on the screen real quick. Herrick actually, where's my button? There it is. Herrick wrote some stuff in relation to what's going on with healers and raid frames and tracking buffs and so on and so forth. There is a Wowhead post about it. He has an awesome video about it here. All of this is going to be linked live here in a moment. And of course, it'll also be in the YouTube description below. I highly recommend those of you who A, heal, and B, care about the PvE scene, read it, watch it, listen to it, be receptive to it, because it is a concern for a lot of healers. I have a few things that I specifically typed up, and again, I want to be careful with what I say, because not because I'm worried about what I'm conveying, but I want to make sure Herrick's words and Herrick's concerns are communicated appropriately. He also posted a really big article, I'm sorry, not article, forum post back in October raising these concerns. So, healers are not being heard. That's the whole discussion point here, okay? And we'll get to the poll question in a minute. The workaround that's being presented in the video and the Wildhead article, it is an escalation after months of ignored feedback. Healers raised this issue early, as you saw with the forum post, through proper channels. Being comfortable with the current UI does not invalidate those who are not, and there's more about that here in a minute. This is about baseline information, it's not automation. This is also an accessibility issue, and this is not healers asking for power, this is asking for information to help them do their jobs better. So again, all of this stuff will be linked below. I have here a DM that I had with Herrick outlining all of his concerns. So you can pause the video here if you want to. That way you can read the DM and whatnot. Really nice guy, had a lot of really great points and whatnot. So essentially, the crux of the issue is that there's no way to whitelist and blacklist stuff on the raid frames, right? And I do want to be cautious. We're recording this on January 25th. The early access is still a month away. Raiding is still like 7 weeks away. So a lot can potentially change. I do think that Blizzard, I'm pretty sure they're hearing the concerns. So I'd like to say that this issue will be a non-issue by the time raiding comes around. But right now, there's no way to whitelist, there's no way to blacklist, there's no way to organize, etc., etc. And for a lot of healers, it's difficult to discern what's going on your raid frames at any given moment. So the first point here, telling healers they don't need to buff, they don't need buff tracking is like telling a dot spec they don't need a way to make their dots, a way to track their dots. Do you think, so getting back into the conversation with you guys, like, does that make sense? Do you think that people understand what that really means? I kind of wish we had a healer, like a real healer on the podcast for this question, but what do you guys think what do you think about Herrick's concerns and about the healer's concerns as a whole?
No, I said at the beginning, it's absolutely valid, and there's a couple of specs that can definitely relate to this, and I know resto druids are one of them, but not only limited to. I think the biggest problem is, and I think you mentioned this, and I also found this design in our player profile. You cannot blacklist or whitelist stuff. There is stuff I want to track, and there is stuff I really don't care about, but it's all there. There is no way for me to like actually arrange this. And this should not be the case. This does not give an advantage or disadvantage. This is basically the information that my class is able to put out, and I want to be able to filter that. And that becomes, I believe, I haven't did this in a raid, but I can imagine in a raid it becomes a huge problem when you have like 20 people and you have like 1 trillion different dots. Some of them which are passive, just go there. You don't have any control on them, and you want to be able to track what's most important for you, right? And blacklist stuff that isn't that important, that is more passive, or that it doesn't really make or break your healing rotation or the prep time you are getting into. If something really bad is going to happen, like, you know, think about the ramp up for a discipline priest. Think about the ramp up of again resto druid. You know, they prep to get to that moment, and if they're not able, if they're like, first of all, if they're flooded with information that is not useful to them, that's going to be a problem, especially in a raid environment, and especially when you're pushing or want to do some progress. And it can be the same thing in a dungeon as well. Don't get me wrong. But this is an issue, and they have to do something about it, because I don't feel that you're going to get an advantage or disadvantage just given the option to whitelist or blacklist stuff. That would be huge. So my 2 cents in it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the video playing right now, and it's one of those things to where, as somebody who recently got into healing on my, I played all, 6 healers, including Holy and Disc. I played all of them leading up to Midnight's pre-patch, and I can't even imagine how frustrating it must be for people who've been healing long-term for years, who are not dependent. I mean, maybe dependent is the right word, but they have no way to quickly verify or validate what's going on without, relearning what various icons and specific positions mean and whatnot. It's just it's about being able to look at your UI and know what's going on at a moment's notice. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say that people can't adapt over time. But is that healthy? Is that necessary? I don't know. I don't know if I even really have a point beyond that. Flame, were you about to say something?
Well, personally, the War Within actually pushed me away from healing for a very long time because I enjoyed healing as well. Healing for me had a bunch of other issues outside of this, although I do recognize that these are also problems that people are struggling with. And I mean, if it's coming from the top, then who am I to disagree? This is actually great that it's happening because I think more information and more feedback should be put out in any kind of form when it can be made public, so that whatever design choices Blizzard makes can be shaped around what the community actually wants. I know that a lot of the devs probably, like I don't know directly, but they're probably hanging around in class discords. So I would be surprised if they're not aware of these issues. I think they're definitely aware of more things than they are publicly stating. It's just a matter of question of how quickly they're able to implement all of these changes. I'm pretty sure no dev at Blizzard is saying, yeah, I don't care if they don't like it or not. They're gonna take it and they're gonna use it this way.
That's all Blizzard. That's
yeah. There's definitely not. So I'm very convinced that they're aware of it and they will take action. It's just a matter of when that actually happens. And obviously, we at the end of the day, we're paying customers. We're paying for the game. We're not late on our subscription payments. So why is all of the fixes sometimes coming a little bit late? And whenever you have a beta basically event, because this is kind of like an event, the amount of advertising that they did, they've been doing beta trailers also from the War Within. Whenever you have something this advertised and put this much emphasis on, you kind of expect to, as a player, you kind of expect to either see the results of your testing and your feedback a little bit quicker. The closer we get to the release of the expansion, these things tend to be a little bit more worrisome. This last raid testing, I don't even know if it was initially planned, because we've been like a month or and a half without any raid testing whatsoever, and they just threw this in. We don't know if there's going to be more. So I can imagine high-end renders are going well, okay, but these are still not fixed, and we're so close, and the expansion launches, and that's probably a communication thing that they still need to work on. But I do hope that all of this is being changed, because as the healers that I played definitely require a lot more tracking than other healers, and it doesn't feel like the pruning essentially touched everybody equally.
It's a matter of just allowing us to blacklist and whitelist stuff. That's it.
I agree. It's really as simple as I need more customization to do what I want. It's not a leg up in the competition. It's not trying to get better than everyone and sweat. It's just simply preference, and I just need to see what's on these bars, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like they've done a really good job integrating some stuff, like, in the very short amount of time they've decided to do all this. And I do think it's a start, but listen, I love what Blizzard's doing. I think they're doing a lot of right, but I'm definitely not scared to say if something ain't right. Like, healing is not great right now. A lot of people have said to me, I've gotten tons of DMs, tons of comments on YouTube, like, sure, the simplification, I'll deal with it, but like, I got to be able to customize my UI how I really want it if I'm going to go this route. Like, it's just not right yet. I do think it's on its way. I do think it's a start. And I've said before on, my show with Lance that I do think season 1, it's going to be decent, but it is also going to be a struggle. So it's going to be a struggle in the sense that if we don't have everything that, makes us feel comfortable playing the video game at the level that we've been used to with using add-ons the last 10 years or whatever, people are going to complain, and they're going to doom and they're going to gloom.
So I think that, like, complaining, of course, absolutely. But, like, who do you think is going to get left behind when customization like this is removed and it's no longer possible? Assuming, again, Blizzard does not fix it tomorrow, for all we know,
Well, obviously, like the complaint, or the feedback, not the complaint, comes from a person who is like highly experienced and probably much more well versed in high-end content, right? We talked about this earlier in the show. It's like for people that are doing their +10s and heroic rating, they're probably not gonna feel as much pressure because we discussed that the raid overall is gonna be probably easier than previous raids. So I wouldn't see a big problem for casual people to like semi-dedicated people, right? Now, hardcore. I won't say hardcore. Let's say people who are trying to push, like ambitious people. I'm not talking necessarily about 1%. We can get us included here as well. We like to do mythic rating. We like to like get that C or whatever. So in that sense, that could be problematic. Like if you want to like heal and you have just joined a mythic guild and they're not hardcore. They're like they're doing, I don't know, 2 nights per week per rating, right? Chill mode, but they want to progress. That's the whole point of it, right? And you are playing a healer in that team, at some point, depending on the spec you play, of course, but at some point, it's going to become a problem for you if you're going to be the one who's causing people dying in some sort of like a situation of progress. So it's not only like the high-end players who will be affected by this. It's also your Joe who wants to get into mythic rating. And that requires a little bit more of a filtering, I would say, when it comes to like what your spec does. And again, we're talking about healing purely here. There's specs that So you play this. If people play Discipline Priest, right, the most important thing for Discipline Priest is the attunement buff, right? You need to make sure that attunement sticks there, and you can track that. That's fine. But when that attunement is being shown with everything else that comes on that party frame, it's going to be very hard to track that. Now, WeChorus used to have a fix for that. You can like make it bigger, you can make it glow. You had a million options for that. That's gone. Okay. There's probably add-ons that do that. And I know you're going to bring this up, Brutal, some of the solutions that are being brought in. But that's the main issue, right? And it goes back to that, like giving people the option to whitelist and blacklist stuff so you can focus on what's important for your spec. And again, it's not necessarily only the 1%ers here. I have plenty of friends who like want to get into Mythic. They're not hardcore. They're not like sweaty and everything like that. But they can play a good game. They can deliver on their mechanics and they can deliver on pumping that DPS or whatever. And they're kind of excited to like do Mythic rating, right? But if you're a healer, again, it becomes a problem when that raid frame is filled with a million different buffs which you don't care about. And that one that you care about is really hard to like locate and track, especially on 20 frames. Okay, that's the biggest issue.
Yeah, I mean it's just about at a glance, especially in mythic rating, whatever the case is, at a glance, knowing what's going on based on how your UI is laid out. And the default UI, objectively, is better than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. That whitelisting and blacklisting, man. Fingers crossed that Blizzard not just hears us, but implements something in the weeks ahead. Oh, by the way, go ahead.
I was just going to add that. I'm designing a player profile for ourselves. Like sometimes I get into chat with like player devs and stuff like that. And what I can say is that add-on devs are in constant communication with Blizzard devs. Like they have like a Discord dedicated to add-on creators and stuff, and they talk over there. And this whitelist blacklisting is being asked for since forever. And with what we discussed here, basically like arguments that it's not an advantage or anything like that. It's basically let me see what I want to see and what is important for me. So they know. And you said fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But they do know, and a lot of these add-on creators are asking for a long time for this feature to happen, right? It's there. The communication is there, at least between these guys who are making add-ons and the devs. When it will happen, I don't know. But
Flame, did you have anything you wanted to add to the conversation before we move on?
Oh no, I'm good. I haven't healed in a long time, so I haven't encountered these issues. I don't. I'm not gonna voice any opinion so far, but I trust the more experienced ones.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. If healers, by and large, not everyone, because for instance, Jerry Garcia in chat says they're a healer, just got back into retail, stoked with how things feel right now. I think that the feeling is pretty good. Again, whether you're playing DPS, healer, tanking, whatever. It's just that information or lack thereof or the customization aspect. Anyway, beating a dead horse. The poll, by the way, for this section of the podcast was, should healers have more UI information than DPS by default? 69% of people in almost 50 responses said yes. So huge majority say that healers deserve, need more UI information at a glance.
Hey man, any way to please a healer, I'm all for it. They you know, please, yeah. Listen, I gotta
need
make
more
my healers
healers.
happy. Yeah, please, please, more healers.
Well, thank you, guys. Thank you, Herrick, if you wind up listening to this, for communicating that with me and giving me an opportunity to amplify your concerns, and not just your concerns, but concerns from a lot of healers out there. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next section here, the next discussion about. Well, look at that, more add-ons. Wow. I don't know if you guys have heard. Quasi quit WoW, and some of you guys may be out there saying, who's Quasi, who cares, etc., but we're not going to sit here and talk about, you know, right and wrong, good and bad, so on and so forth. We're going to take things in a slightly different direction. Quasi was somebody out there that definitely helped a lot of people, whether it be with, you know, how to set up their UI or how to understand dungeons, or even how to, you know, fix a lot of, not fix, but how to set a lot of your settings in game and whatnot. I want to talk about like what happens, because right now there's a lot of debate with Neph UI, Quasi UI, so on and so forth. When enforcement by Blizzard is as vague or as non-existent as it has been, and that social pressure from people like fills that gap. Like how do you guys read this situation, or any situation similar to it?
Oh boy.
That's a big can of worms to dive into, huh? That's a...
Now, okay, so starting from the Blizzard policy, right? Like I don't know where in their terms of services, but it's clear that you shouldn't make add-ons locked behind paywalls. Everything should be free of charge, and the code should be public. Very important to our conversation here, right? They haven't, I don't think they ever enforced anything on add-on creators, especially the ones who are behind paywalls. And I don't know many. All I know is there are paid add-ons out there, which also have free versions of those add-ons, right? Linking it up with Quasi, I know he worked a lot on that UI, and he decided to put it behind Patreon. Now, it's his decision, and it's his, I would say, he takes full responsibility for that. That is 100% against terms of service, and I would say, I would even go as far to say that you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't ask money for that. It's hard work, but it is a passion project. It is something you are willing to do for the community, and I would say like the best option is, hey man, if people really love it, they will support you nonetheless. Link that Patreon there, it's fine. They will support you if the work is good. But Blizzard has not done anything yet regarding this. I don't know if they're aware of the drama with the UI stuff, but I think it's a nice byproduct of the add-on situation overall with Midnight. Just people like creating their own UIs, or yeah, I think Quasi was like full on with plates and looking like Wikors, and everything was in there, right? So that's just a solution to a generated problem from Blizzard, unfortunately, because they didn't have the proper tools to begin with to offer us to like make everything we want to, right? Go ahead, Lance.
Yeah, no, what I was gonna say, I was just gonna say that like, sadly, Blizzard caused a problem, and like normally, and listen, there's things I don't like about this situation, but there's things that I like. As an entrepreneur and someone trying to make money, you're solving a problem, and you got to make an investment of time, energy, mental effort. I guess some can go as far as in Quasi's situation, emotional efforts, thousands of dollars, and he's trying to solve that said problem to turn it and not only help the community, but make a profit. Now, if you want to ask my personal opinion, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, I'm not going to dive too deep into it. I don't think it's a great idea selling something behind a paywall. Don't get me wrong. I'm a money guy. I work, I bust my butt. I work 8-10 hours a day. I'm sure just like everyone in this room, I think of things in different perspectives as well. But at the end of the day, I'm a creator. I have a community. You got to respect your community. You got to respect, everyone that's around you. Sometimes there are things you just got to do for free. You bite the bullet. It betterments the community. It betterments your social status. Sometimes there are things you try to figure out in other ways. But like Marcelian was saying, Blizzard did cause a problem. He's trying to solve that said problem while making a little bit of money. The truth of the matter is, though, if it's against terms of service, that's it. That's the end all be all. You should not be doing it.
I mean, do you think that, I think you said this a moment ago, Marcel, do you think that because Blizzard has kind of been tight-lipped and hasn't really made this big public announcement, and not specifically about this one situation, but kind of the overarching thing, like, do you think that kind of makes conflicts like this inevitable? Like people calling each other out on Twitter and people just getting upset and either saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, whatever.
It's a weird space, Ben, because I've never seen Blizzard act on add-ons whatsoever. And again, I don't know many add-ons that are 100% behind a paywall. I don't know. What I can say is that if Blizzard were to like actually offer some sort of solution for like devs, right? To like, listen, like we have CurseForge. I know add-on creators get some sort of like ad revenue from the ads on CurseForge and stuff like that. They have a program like that, so they get some money off of that. Okay. If Blizzard offers some sort of solution for that, like I don't know, a portal or something for add-on creators where they could offer the option to pay or not or get premium features, that would be a totally different thing. But it's clear in the terms of service that listen, the code is to be public. Okay, you do not own code or anything like that unless you pay for, I don't know, some specific license. I don't know how that works. And the add-ons will be free of charge. That's clear. Enforcing that wasn't the case because, again, I do not remember any 100% locked out add-on. I know popular big guilds have some weak or specs or whatever locked behind a paywall up until they finish that boss or something like that. But dude, it's at the end of the day, there's two things, and I think Sky nailed it. Respect for your community, that's one thing. And second, you want to hustle, go hustle, do your thing. But how did you get to the point where you can afford to create this and try to make money off of it? It's because of that same community you helped out. And I gotta give, Quasi's video on making WoW play better, and optimizing the FPS one. That was, dude, come on, right? And I learned a lot from him, from his Splitter videos. I learned a lot how to customize Splitter and do a lot of stuff with it. So he helped a lot of us, a lot of the community. The reaction though is very sus. Okay, it's very sus. Like he quit. 100%. WoW. Not only he quit, dude, he unlisted all his videos. He closed all his Discord channels.
That's the thing that really by the way, for the most part, I wasn't really skeptical or anything. I thought he was just doing his thing. Okay, there's backlash. There's always backlash with anything you do, by the way. But my biggest thing was the reaction by him. And once again, I'm not dogging nobody. This is not what this is about at all. It's just open discussion for the community, because if you try to ignore it, then, that just makes it look weird. But truth of the matter is his reaction of straight up within 24 hours, completely quitting World of Warcraft, taking down everything on the channels, and no more responses. I'm gone. Peace out. It doesn't look good. It's a bad look. It makes him look more guilty than probably he actually is. Right. It makes him look a lot worse than he actually is. So I don't know. In that regard, I agree with you guys there. Flame, I didn't get to hear your point. What were you going to say, Flame? I think you were about to say something too.
Well, in terms of Quasi's situation directly, I pretty much see it the same way as Marcel, and it did feel a little bit over the top. But then again, everybody takes these things differently. Everybody's putting different levels of passion, and it can affect people in different ways. I feel like content creation and overall working in any kind of entertainment business, you kind of have to have a little bit of a thick skin if you want to be in the long run. But then again, I don't know the guy personally, so I don't know exactly what he thought. But I do feel like the Quasi situation is a perfect example of how Blizzard handled this whole add-on situation, because it's clear that for the longest time they've relied on add-ons for helping them design certain types of encounters because they knew that players had certain types of solutions. So whatever problems their design could have caused, the solution was already thought out by somebody else.
Yep.
Naively, I thought that whenever they started this add-on war thing, they would hire the add-on creators that would be, let's say, left without a work, I would say. But obviously that's not really how things work. But I would have hoped for some more lucrative collaboration between Blizzard and the add-on creators that have worked for years and years and years, whether for themselves, whether for as a passion project, whether to actually solve problems for people, to be, let's say, to have a little bit more incentive for the add-on creators to have this collaboration. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how things work between them and the devs. From what I understand, whatever Discord they're in, it's just very exclusive. But it's clear that the approach wasn't ideal, and what we see with the Quasi situation is kind of like a reverberation of that situation. So I don't think it was handled properly on a lot of sides, but
I agree.
just some a little bit extreme at what happened.
I just think that most people's concerns, of course, in a macro sense, is that you have content creators and people who put things behind a paywall. That's strictly that's the loophole. It's profile based, like it's not code in most cases. Whereas these add-on authors, like you guys have been saying, the people who the blood, the sweat, and the tears and whatnot, who actually build the product, aren't really seeing any kind of kickback or revenue or return whatsoever. And that's where why are these people able to benefit when the people who actually make it receive next to nothing? And again, as somebody who loves add-ons, I would love to see the people who have made our lives better in any number of ways get something for it, other than just social, the gratitude. Thanks, man, I appreciate you. It's just, that's got to be so frustrating,
Yeah, it's so a lot of the add-ons do actually have in their description and what about they have like Patreon links and stuff like that and donation links, and that's fine. That's how you're supposed to do it, basically. Hey, if you love it, maybe consider this. That's totally up to you, and that's always been the case. And I'm sure a lot of the add-on creators have their crowd of Patreons and supporters and stuff. I know I do for like Tears Up for the player stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always been this model. He didn't do that, okay, and it is true, okay. So like Lucky One, one of the devs from LVR, Lucky, posted the code. Nephew, I also posted the code to like show the copy pasta, but that again, that sort of thing with the coding stealing and stuff, it happens a lot in the industry, in software development and stuff like that. Sure, no code is going to be 100% the same. You're going to have slight variations, but I feel like the whole can of worms would have been handled much more, I would say, elegantly if this was in private DMs and sorted out. This blew up.
It's really weird to go about everything publicly on Twitter. It's very weird. Like if I had a problem with somebody, stealing something from me personally, I would DM them. Like it's weird to go.
That's why we'll never share our DMs, right? We got to keep them behind closed doors. We can't have people know what was said before the show. All right. No, I think you're absolutely right. I will say, and I think I speak for all of us here, so feel free to stop me if I don't. Like I said, we're not here to discuss like the right and the wrong and ethics and morals and whatnot. I say we, generally speaking, man, we don't want anything but the best for people, whether it's Quasi or otherwise. Like we don't want anyone to, have any kind of situation that robs them of their sanity and their safety and all that stuff. So I'm not condoning anything, again, that is ethically wrong, but it's so easy to get wrapped up in witch hunts and jumping on a bandwagon, and maybe you've watched this person or followed this person for X number of years, so you're in their corner no matter what. It's a messy situation, and it's not just this situation, but situations like it can escalate real quick.
Internet.
I think at the end of the day, we have to blame Blizzard. They're the problem. No, I'm just kidding.
Blizzard!
As that's the safe route thing.
There's some seed over there, Sky. There is something there. No, at the end of the day, just they should have handled this privately. And
Yeah,
I think everybody makes mistakes. Everybody fucks up. Everybody steals code. But that can be discussed, debated, and resolved in, I would say, in like a gentleman's matter. I was never a fan of this public shaming, all of that. Everything can be discussed. Hey, if the person you're discussing with is not open, is like refuting everything, sure, take it to the public court. I'm all for that. But the first step would be to like have conversations. Okay, hey man,
Yeah.
listen. Even if you're in the wrong, maybe you're in the wrong. You're like, yeah, I copied that code. That's fine. What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna do another code straight from ground up. And sorry about this. I'm gonna take it down. Yeah, I'm even gonna go publicly and make a statement, anything like that. But dude, this has to happen in private. Why the hell would you bring it like that?
Weird.
Yeah, but it's internet. Brutal said it. People are always going to pick sides. They're going to be mad. They're going to like stir up, different types of emotions. And we all know how the internet is. So we just leave it at that. I will
Peace and
say
harmony.
though, I will say though, because you did say, Brutal, that we're not going for right and wrong. I will say though, it is wrong to put that shit behind a paywall for the community that helped you be in the
Yeah.
situation where you would create that.
Yeah, personally
what I'm saying?
speaking, I agree with you. Like I used to have my UI, my rating UI was available for download, and of course I never put it behind a paywall because I didn't make anything. I just rearranged things and I fiddle with settings and stuff. Like I never, again, morally, which is whether something's right or wrong to me, morally, it just didn't sit well to charge for it. If someone wanted to support me, they could sub to my Twitch and they could donate or they could whatever because they saw a benefit. But it was never required, of course.
Yeah, that's the model.
Yep.
Say, that's the hell.
Yep. By the way, the poll for this topic, this discussion was, is the current add-on ecosystem sustainable long term? And we had pretty much a 50-50 split between, yeah, sure, it's sustainable, no big deal, and only with Blizzard's intervention. So it seems like people are a bit split whether or not how these things have unfolded with, combat add-on changes and whatnot, whether or not, in my perspective, I actually said, yes, it is sustainable because my perspective on this is the game functions, it operates. It may not be optimized for everybody, but it does work. But I understand what people mean by, intervention, and that kind of ties into what we were talking about with the blacklisting, the whitelisting, and so on and so forth. But what do you guys think? Do you think things are sustainable at the moment with the UI, or do you think that there are bigger concerns?
I'm not gonna interrupt Flame for too long. Trust me, I've been dying to hear this guy talk for half an hour. But I would say overall, they're on the right track, man. Like it's a really big undertaking. They're trying to take on 20 years of add-ons and UI of being created and like trying to do this. To me, it feels like out of nowhere. It's a lot, man. It's a lot, and I'll tell you what, that Gamescom showcase of them trying to do that, it was an absolute disaster. It got me really nervous, and I was like, "Holy shit, are we in trouble?" Anyways, I'm cautiously optimistic. I do think it's on its way to being there. I don't think it's there yet. It's just one of those things that's going to take time, trying to replicate 10, 15, 20 years of work and dedication and passion from the community. So from that perspective, I think we'll just have to see. I do think they'll do better, though. Go ahead, Flame. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. It's for sure. It's going back to what I said a little bit earlier. I think Midnight is kind of like a necessary evil, and if you have played WoW in the last 4 years, we've had the edit mode come up. What was it, at the beginning of Dragonflight, and it was bare bones to say the least. And that was off. I think that was also at the same time as they were probably cooking up private auras. And if you've played alpha in any way, or at the beginning stages of the beta when they enabled the damage meter, which was atrocious, it was
there. Nothing
it was
showed
a
up.
PNG of occasionally showing your spec with a colored bar, apparently showcasing your damage, to what it is right now on beta, which is, I think, still a little bit better than what we have on pre-patch. the progress is definitely shown, and I think that what they've built with Midnight, with the add-ons, with everything else as well, is they're creating like a structure, like the skeleton of what WoW 2.0 or 3.0, depending on how you want to look at it, will essentially be and look at in the next, they hope, I don't know, 10, 20 years. All right, go good luck with that. But I feel like it's definitely there. They just have to keep at it and hopefully get good talent, hopefully cooperate or communicate well with the people that know better, like, you know, the add-on credits and so on, and depending on what type of collabs they have. So yeah, more overall positive as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
What do you guys think has to feel right from day? Like, we've been talking about, you know, combat add-ons, and we've been talking about, you know, the pruning, we've been talking about the pre-patch, but we're talking like a month from now, the game launches. Like, what has to feel right day one?
Your spec, your class. The first thing you interact with.
Do you say that because you think something's missing right now? Apex talents, of course, being the main thing that comes to mind.
I'm saying this because well, I've been through too many expansions where my spec felt like shit, and this is I have strongly believe that once you get into Midnight, and if your spec feels good, feels right, feels punchy, feels responsive, that's good. Now, granted, if you're not going to be flooded with Lura errors and all of that mess. But I do hope that that's going to be ironed out. But like, I think we said this in at least 10 videos, right? The first interaction you have with this effing game is the class you play. That's the one thing you select after that login screen. That's, you know, hit enter world, and you see, you know, the back of your spec. Then you see the abilities and all of that. And probably you're either going to go out target dummy, or you're going to queue up for a dungeon, or go do questing, whatever. That moment needs to feel right. If that isn't right, it's going to be very hard to change the perspective. And Blizzard did this mistake so many times. They threw in Giga Cinematic and Giga City Towns, absolutely gorgeous graphics and world design and sound design and music. And then you're sitting there like with your you know, your little buddy, your little, you know, Fury Warrior, but combat pros like auto rock, just pew, pew, pew. This doesn't feel right. It feels shallow. It doesn't have the impact. Doesn't have the meat, right? This is 100% what I feel they should nail down. After that comes the rest. You know, the quest being all okay, the lag being out, you know, not problematic, all that shit.
So you're saying all of that because it doesn't feel right or good right now? Is that what you mean?
Oh, it feels great. No, if they keep at it, it feels
gotcha.
great.
Okay,
No. I'm not going there. No. The specs are great. No. Most of them are great. It's just like if you play in beta, right, and you have like max gear, they feel great, right?
Yeah.
And you have all the Apex talents, and you have all the hero talents,
2-piece, 4-piece.
Yeah, all that shit, right? Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, they have to feel great without those, right? So you log into Midnight, you don't have anything of that. Have to feel good about it.
It's going to be hard because even right off the bat with pre-patch right now, like there are classes that feel great, and then there are classes that don't feel great. Like it's tough because they've designed these specs and classes and even balancing them right now currently based off of them having their tier set and having all the Apex talents being played at a decent level. So like, man, right now on live, are like Warrior's a freaking mess. There's some specs whose, you know, my cooldown abilities, like for Affliction Lock, that new, I forgot, it was like the channeling ability that does damage to the people who have afflicted. Yeah, Dark Harvest. Yeah, that feels amazing to press. Everything else is like hot swamp ass to press. So like, it's a mess right now. I'm going to be honest. I like when it comes to actual numbers and tuning, it's a disaster. Feeling wise, like Marcelian says, it feels pretty good. Like I really enjoy a lot of the ways classes are being played right now.
I'd assume, this is nothing more than an assumption, most people would prefer that like numbers can be adjusted, and they will. We know that. This is the 80th year we've been playing this dadgum game, right? But if things feel good, like if you're happy to log on, you're happy to jump into a dungeon, a raid, PvP, whatever, and it feels good, that's what matters. So we had talked about being cautiously optimistic with Midnight. We had talked about, you know, being happy with the pruning and so many other things. So as long as they can nail that feeling, that experience, then the rest is I'm good with the rest, right? Well, they'll tune it, they'll dial it in.
And that's why I feel like, I know there's a lot of words of feeling coming around tonight. I feel like this. No, but that's why I do feel like I'm getting comments constantly from people saying things like, man, I haven't played since TBC. I haven't played since Wrath or XYZ. And they're like trying the game again. They go, all in all, it feels pretty good. Like the gameplay doesn't feel bad. Now, what I think like War Within did really well, better than most expansions, is they added another pillar of endgame content with delves to help the casual, player base, the casual and laid back guys. And then it pushes them into things like Mythic Plus and raiding every once in a while. So endgame retention feels pretty good. I know I'm annoyed by saying feeling every 2 seconds, but it does feel pretty good. So, maybe you add Prey. And then Midnight, with the gameplay pruning and systems and comfortability and classes not being so complicated to dive into, hopefully the gameplay feels like a little bit of a throwback to early World of Warcraft days, mixed with that spice of retail endgame. And it's like the best of both worlds, So that's what I'm hoping for. Flame, I didn't get to hear you either. Sorry. I keep interrupting.
Yeah, for sure. For the longest time, I think what WoW had as a leg up over... I've played some Final Fantasy 14, but I think over a lot of other MMOs and a lot of other games is how the combat feels to play, how meaty it is, how punchy it is, the sound effects, the animation. It's fun to press your buttons and see your guy do the thing that you want it to do. And adjacent to how your class feels, I think it, and this is probably what Marcin said earlier, and how the add-ons actually enable the game for you. Not having FPS issues, not having UI errors, not having overloaded information that takes you away from enjoying your moment-to-moment gameplay because you're focused somewhere else. And this is, I think, how WoW has become over the years, where when you go into a new class, it might play well if you could just play it perfectly, but you're like, oh, how was my rotation? Am I using my cooldowns properly? Am I aligning my procs?
WoW hand on the other monitor.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see the priority.
And I think for the longest time, the player's attention went from actually going into the game, you're on your character, your character's basically your steering wheel as you're driving your car, and you're looking at the world mechanics, you're seeing your fireball shoot out, your mortal strike hitting the enemy into. That was really cool. And a lot of that attention has been taken away and put into monitoring your procs, monitoring your UI, monitoring what's going on. And my opinion is that people probably have lost their connection to the actual outside world. I'm not saying that nobody's noticing the outside world, but a lot of that attention has been stripped away and put into looking at data and stats on your screen. And what Midnight is doing well at so far, hopefully they keep at it, is to offload some of that cognitive weight that you have when you go in and you're thinking of all these 7 things you need to do, and it frees up your brain to, oh, look, the boss is actually lifting the big hammer and swiping down in front of him.
Yes.
I can see the cone there, but I also see the big damn hammer coming down. I'm gonna get out of the way.
Please finish your thought. I don't want to interrupt you. I'm going to add on after you finish. Go.
That part of a game felt like it has been lost over the years, and I think this is what's being accomplished with the class pruning, with the mechanic pruning, let's say, and hopefully the UI issues can be fixed so that we can streamline our experience as much as possible. And if we've seen the pre-patch so far, and hopefully this maintains when the expansion launches, we don't have I'm probably going to have some connection issues. So I was famous for that when it launches expansions. But if we don't have, I feel like it was, what was it? The patch where they added the Nightfall Sanctum or Nightfall event thing in Hallowfall. That was one of the most brokiest patch that they've ever added. It was so laggy. People couldn't connect. People didn't have the events work. Like, if we can get rid of all of those things so we can actually enjoy the class that we're playing, I think that that's probably the next best thing that the devs can focus on.
Dude, I 1000% agree with you. Once as established earlier in this episode, I've been playing with 0 add-ons on beta and live this week. Once I stripped all of that away and I started actually digging into Midnight, and we talked about Mythic Plus as well, and how I love that for this first season, this first dungeon pool, I found myself actually watching what was unfolding in front of me instead of watching timers, instead of watching procs and this, that, and the other. And there is still some of that, of course. But I think they've done a really good job this first season in making sure things, what's the word for it? Not scripted, but readable. Like you see what's happening in the fight, and you know, okay, I need to react or be preemptive or whatever. Instead of just watching your DBM timers, your bigwigs timers, just watching your weak ores, because admittedly that's where my eyes and attention have been for years now. But it's so nice to like lift my head up and be like, oh, look at the look at the dungeon design, look at the artwork, look at the spell effects, look at what the boss is doing and how they're moving, and like you said, how they're acting, which then prompts my actions. I love it. I agree. I love it.
I gotta add a little bit to it, and yeah, you guys are right. Flame hit it on the head because, man, the last couple of years with retail, wow, it feels like I'm watching my rotation and weak auras rather than looking at actually what's going on around me. And I think Blizzard has started to realize that too, and that's why we're going down this entire route. So simplification needed to come; it had to happen. Midnight's doing it, and I do think it's for the better. Now, when it comes to answering their question, I think it was what Midnight can't afford to go wrong. Class feeling, I think it's already on its way. I think the end game systems are on its way, but and this is such a tall order to ask for, but a really smooth launch can go a long way for some experienced and veteran players. Only because, like, man, like Flame was saying, that Nightfall event, oh my god, what a disaster things like that were. And we like that spaghetti code that Blizzard writes sometimes, it sucks, man, and it really hurts, and it shouldn't ruin someone's launch. If like as a veteran player, I'm so used to it, and it's such a terrible thing. Like, I'm so used to the abuse of the bad servers and lag that I just don't give a shit anymore. But imagine
that's always been a condition over the years where we think that smooth expansion is a tall order task.
That's what I'm saying, and that's it's so crazy that I'm even saying this out loud. But I really hope things are smooth on launch. Like, I hope they're not buggy, not disastrous,
yes,
like
I am.
That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm confident anyone who's listening to this right now could post. For me, the one that sprang to mind immediately was the Warlords of Draenor launch. I don't know if any of you guys experienced the launch, but you got to the Horde garrison, and I think if I remember correctly, there was like this little spyglass or telescope or something you had to click. Not only was it unclickable, if I'm recalling correctly, but you literally couldn't click it because 1,000 people were on top of it. I mean, it was a mess, and yeah, this game's been out a long time. I'm sure we all have examples and stories like that.
Yeah, you know what's funny is during that time with the Warlords of Draenor launch, me and Lance, we were still in school. So, like, we'd be like, okay, we're going to tell mom that we're going to take off Thursday, Friday, because I think, I don't know when it would release back then, but I remember it being like a couple days, then the weekend, and then, we'd go back to school. So we'd have like 4 days straight to play. I'm like, hell yeah, we're going to kill it. It's going to be fun. None of that happened. It was a horrible launch. I didn't play. I played for like an hour. It was so embarrassing. It was awful. And then I went to school while everyone played. It was a nightmare. So yeah, not fun.
Hey, but Sky, you got your 3 days token of appreciation extension, because they give out those 3 days compensation. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Dude, I was staring at a login screen. It was so bad. And then, like, every once in a while, my mom would be like, hey, did you guys even get to play yet? I'm like, no, we haven't. I'm like, I should have went to school. I'm an idiot. I'm like, what have I done? Oh, what a...
Sending kids back to school. That's a good thing.
Oh, horrible.
The thing is, with the launch of expansions, pretty much in recent years, they're pretty smooth, especially with the War Within and the early access thing. They have problems with releasing patches. I cannot remember the last patch that was launched smoothly. The one with the event in Dornogal, that's one thing. But all the patches that were released, I don't know why, always buggy, messy, and with a lot of problems.
I mean, now, spaghetti code, right? Sky said it. It's spaghetti code, man.
We're talking about an expansion launch. At least, I hope I'm not mistaken. Dragonfly was okay. War Within was smooth. I haven't felt nothing. So it was pretty smooth.
Shadowlands was a little bit iffy.
Shadowlands was iffy, but that was like for 2 hours.
And that was like half a day at the
I remember that. but Midnight again with the early access stuff and you know early access has this benefit of like segmenting players, yeah, benefit segmenting a lot of the players already before, not having
Yeah.
like everybody cramped up in the same day more or less, right?
Yeah,
So
big time.
it kind of like puts a little bit more ease on the servers, and I
Sure.
kind of predict the launch is going to be pretty smooth because we have the war within situation and a lot of like the big problems we are facing right now with the pre-patch. So, you know, kudos to us. We're testing shit for them, making it right. Feedback in, it's all good, baby. But I feel the expansion is going to launch in a smooth manner. Again, I want to reiterate: they have to drop a Giga cinematic for that launch. They would be a bunch of idiots if they don't. They're gonna hype up the shit out of it. Just saying.
And then the servers will fill up and we will lag at the launch.
Hell yeah.
Sounds right.
It's
The,
circle of life.
The last question of the poll was, do you trust Blizzard to get Midnight right? And I didn't specify launch, of course, but this is just an overarching thing. And 50% of people are cautiously optimistic, which I think is a good thing. I look at that as a reasonable response because I fall into that category as well. We talked about this a dozen different times over the course of this episode. I'm cautiously optimistic. I like how things feel right now. We just got done talking about feelings. I like how things are looking, you know, mechanically speaking, for the most part. The add-ons or the default UI, some questionable things there. We talked about Herrick's concerns and Healer's concerns and whatnot, but I think that one thing that people, I was about to say people can agree on, that's probably not true, but Blizzard has improved things over these past few months. Maybe not at the rate that some people want, but things have improved, and I think things will continue to improve and whatnot. Listen, you get a Liquid Raider in here. Of course, their opinion is going to be so drastically different from mine to yours to someone who never touches Mythic Plus and whatnot. I'm cautiously optimistic nonetheless. I think that we're going to have a fun expansion. I think that it's going to feel good. I think this first tier is going to be a lot of fun. These first dungeons people are going to love. What do you guys think?
I think so. You kind of nailed it a little bit because the question can be broken down. What does getting Midnight right mean? Does it mean the first week, the first season, the first patch? Because if we've seen anything in the last couple of expansions, they initially get it right. I mean, even if we use Shadowlands as the worst example, where they actually were able to find out, oh, we can actually rip the cords on the Covenants and we can actually let people choose. The expansion was really well played. And
Dude, you can say whatever you want about Shadowlands. I love Mythic Plus and Shadowlands.
yeah, it's pretty
All
much what
seasons.
those people were hyping about. But also when they brought back the tier sets, when they released the Covenant restrictions, that people might not remember, but that was also when they put in the Catalyst, which was the first time ever we could
9.2.
actually use an efficient way to getting tier sets.
That's interesting you mentioned that. You know, we were kind of like among the small crowd who didn't bail on WoW, okay? We're proud of that. We still made content. We were in shit with views, with money, with everything. It was like, it's okay, man.
I lost a lot of weight.
It's strong, man. Yeah, that was we both lost a lot of weight. But that was
That's what I mean. I'm confident that by the end of Midnight, the expansion is going to be rock hard. And but I really wish we wouldn't have to live in a world where it always starts rocky and then they actually end up fixing it, because they have the capability of fixing the problems. We're just talking about cadence here and when that actually ends up happening. So hopefully they understood, especially after the War Within with all those rocky patches, that they cannot really afford to lose a lot of the hype and a lot of the goodwill that people invest, especially now that there's so much more awareness for WoW and you see so many new players like, oh, I haven't played since MoP, I haven't played since Wrath, I'm coming back to WoW finally. It's like, all right, well, you better keep these people in. And if the patch is rocky, if the release is sketchy, they're going to be like, yeah, it's the same old. And then they're going to leave. And the drop off always happens after a month. Is never going to go away, but you don't want to have it way too steep.
Yeah, I agree. I think you all did it. You said everything you needed to say. I mean, the patches are been really rough lately, but the expansion releases have actually been good. And I've praised Dragonflight's release. I've praised the War Within's release. Those are the last two that I've delved into more than any expansion for retail, and since Shadowlands Season 1, and then I kind of quit after that. So I praise you guys for sticking around, but it's the patches that are going to be a problem. And like Flame said, if you don't lead them with the hype leading into a successful patch launch, World of Warcraft is so seasonal nowadays. You know what I mean? It's so easy to just play, I get my gear, I do a raid tier, do some Mythic Plus, and then I'll bounce for a couple months and come back if a new season or patch comes out, and then rinse and repeat. It's such a seasonal game, so like, you know, if you really want to keep that retention high, you gotta have a smooth game. At least that's the bare minimum. And you know, I do strongly believe that they have different teams working on, you know, specific things like, you know, entire expansion releases and then patch releases. That's why it seems so abrupt. Like the quality level is just next. Like I can't believe it. Like there'll be times where I'm so shocked. I'm like, yo, this plays like shit. Like, what happened? And then other times I'm like, yo, Blizzard's back. We're here. We're freaking, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a little tough, but I think they're on the right way.
Yeah, it's weird because they do have a bigger team, especially since like Dragonflight War Within. They like that team grew and grew and grew, and it's so weird that the patches are so messed up, man. It's
weird,
mind-boggling. I'm not sure. So cautiously optimistic is the word because those patches tend to be kind of messy. But one point I did not hear as much people commenting or saying, "Hey man, this looks really cool. I want to get back," during War Within, for example, or Dragon.
True.
I'm hearing a lot more for Midnight for some reason.
Yeah, I think one of you guys said this earlier. Maybe I'm making this up, but I think it was. I'm paraphrasing. The game feels much closer to how it felt in Wrath or TBC or Kata or whatever it was that was stated, and I think that's absolutely true because of the pruning and the toning things down. It's just easier to discern, digest, whatever word you want to use. I love that. I really do. As somebody who loves the complication that, or not the complication, but someone who loves being, like I said, pushed and stressed in PvE, it just feels good right now. And maybe I'm in the minority, but I like it, man.
Yeah, I think what it is for me personally is like, it got to the point where button bloat was so out of control that, for example, playing Fire Mage in the War Within Season 3, like, Pyroblast didn't feel like it did anything. I'd have to get 20 Pyroblast off to make it feel like one Pyroblast on a hot streak back in the day. But, like, you know, so what a simple solution would be, okay, you prune the bullshit buttons and you bring more weight to the more important buttons. So things just feel a little bit more weighted. Less buttons mean more weighted buttons. And I think this is going to be a super hot take, but I think for healers, like, do you need 15 different healing buttons? Like, is that a thing that you guys like?
I don't think
like,
many
I'm
want.
just
I doubt it.
You know, going from like, man, I was playing Preservation not too long ago. I think it was War Within Season 1, and it was like, dude, there's like 20 buttons here to heal somebody. Like, is this normal? Like, when did healing become so fucking bloated? Like, do we not, like, I remember back in the day, it was like there was healing surge, healing wave. Then you got like it's just a couple variants here or there, but like, I don't know, it got a little too bloated.
I'm sure that there are people who are going to like play styles in any number of ways, but there are probably a few people who want that 1 or 2 button rotation, and there are probably a handful of people that want those 15 button rotations. But I think they found a sweet spot for a lot of specs right now, to where it's 3 to 5 buttons. You're tracking, you know, a couple of procs, and I know there are outliers. I know, but yeah, I'm very happy with where things have landed for a lot of classes right now.
Yeah, listen, like both of those people that you just mentioned, I heard both of those people hop on the train of Mists of Pandaria Classic, and the largest feedback, the largest criticism that I heard is like, oh, I love it that my buttons do something when I press them again. Yeah. Because of how the over-designed game has become, and you have all of these little trickles of damage events and healing events from all of these incidental procs of all of this stuff, it has taken away, like Sky just said really, really well, it's taken away the weight from the individual buttons. Bro, when I press my Blaze Storm, I want to see my character shoot up in the meters as I'm Blaze Storming along, which was actually, funny enough, the opposite thing that was happening. I think in the second patch of the War Within, when I was playing Slayer Fury, I went into a dungeon, I pressed Blaze Storm, and I was seeing myself dip down on the meter. I was like, how is this possible? How is the most meatiest warrior AoE ability doing that? And I'm sure that they have heard this feedback from Op Classic players, and hopefully just from live players as well. And it definitely seems like they're swapping a lot of that weight, that focus, that meatiness into fewer abilities. Hopefully that still keeps going, because there's a couple of ones that kind of slip between the cracks.
They're yeah, there's still work to be done in that department. It's good, but there's still
Yeah.
need to work on.
I know
shit.
Flame was DMing me the other day. He said he's maiming, Fire Mage. He's super hyped. They did perfect on the pruning.
I don't know.
Everything's good.
He
the
was
new ability-
DMing me saying he's playing Beast Mastery. You got to get your facts straight. All right?
Yeah, that's another one.
I'm getting gaslit here. I don't know what to do.
You guys
Fire
have been
Mage-
awesome. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying a Fair Mage is an awesome spec, and he
Yeah, man.
loves it.
You've played
I-
every other mage in fire. What are you? No. It's definitely memes aside. They've definitely done better by simply adding Scourge back, which just goes to show like what one ability can do. But
One of my audience members says, "This is Slababoos. I love you, Slab. He's from Australia." He says they changed Bladestorm to Blunt Bladestorm. Didn't you know?
Blood Blade Storm.
Bluntstorm.
Blunt Storm. You guys have been awesome. It's been 2 hours. I'm gonna get you out of here. You guys have been so generous and gracious with your time. Thank you. I do want to ask one final question real quick, if you don't mind, just going around the table. A month from now, early access launches. Midnight's like 5 weeks from now. A month from now, what should feel different if Midnight is doing its job correctly?
I want to walk through Silver Moon and bump into players every corner of the way.
Oh,
That's what
yes. Good take. That's a good take. I like that. Who else?
I have one. Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but because of the button bloat situation in retail and everything just being so overcomplicated and convoluted for no reason, it's actually led me to not PvP anymore. Now, I'm someone who used to PvP a lot. I love PvP. Like, I remember back in Mist of Pandaria, man, I might have been 12 or 13. I hate to make you guys feel a bit older, but I was maybe 12 or 13, and I was carrying people in twos on a Frost Mage at like 12 or 13 and getting gold from it. I don't know how. I'm a loser. I don't know. But anyways, my point is that I want to do PvP again. And I think the pruning with all this happening and things feeling a bit more weighted and easier to understand what's going on with other classes visually, I think PvP is going to make a pretty good resurgence. I think things are going to be a little bit more simplified. And I think people are going to be interested in at least checking it out because it's going to be a little bit easier. So I hope in a month from now, PvP feels pretty good and people are playing it and the community feedback is better.
Listen, I turned 40 in 2.5 weeks, so I'm not that much older than you, am I? Right? Right? Make me feel better.
26. So you got a couple years on me.
When I was 13, a little game. No, I got to listen. You guys were this close.
Wow,
You were this close to escaping the EverQuest talk this episode. But when I was 13,
Look at that.
little game called EverQuest came out. Huh?
Look at that.
I was playing a little EQ back when I was 13. Anyway, I don't know. Marcellian, do you have dial up, man? All right, dial up, baby. What do you think, man? What should feel different to you?
I vibe with what Sky said. I really want to get back into arenas. Really want to so bad. But I guess for one thing, I would like to walk into Orgrimmar or Stormwind or get a quest and not be called the champion anymore. I don't want to be just the savior. I don't want to be the goddamn centerpiece of everything. I just want to be like a regular Joe who helps people or whatever and all that.
Champion.
That's what I want. No more the savior of everything. No, that's not us. Come
Too
on.
bad, man. You've saved the world like a dozen times over. It is what it is.
I know. It's fine.
Too late.
Let's put that on the top of I don't know, Valera,
Arator?
Arator. Yeah, sure. There's a couple of characters out there who can make that. I don't know. I'm just so tired of that whole champion hero savior Dora. It feels like you're too important for this world anyways. But next season you need to gear up again. How does that work?
Kill some boars.
Yeah. How does just stop it. Just stop. I want to feel less important in the game in that context, right? But again, if the story makes sense.
Dude, I think a lot of people would definitely agree with that take. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't bother everyone, but I fall into that category as well, to where it's like I just want to play the game. I'm not a hero. I'm just one of 20 people killing a boss. Whatever.
Yeah, I think from just a raw story point before we go, I think we need to go back to making the lead story characters feel super important again and powerful. I remember playing these older expansions when I was super young, though. I was like, probably a kid, but I remember it's like, oh my god, Jaina or Thrall. I'm like, yo, these guys are badasses. Or like,
Yeah, but we had the same
freaking-
reactions, dude. We had the same reactions. We were a little bit older, but it was the same impact. It was like,
yeah, I guess you're right. now I
In
see
fact-
Thrall or Jaina. I'm just like, okay, I guess. Like, or
It's
Khadgar.
easy
young.
again. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I was
you,
young.
you don't like you don't like Khadgar just hanging out in the wheelchair all expansion?
God, dude, what are we doing? Oh,
I was a
my
young
God.
enhancement shaman hoping to be Thrall when I grew up, and now Thrall is like hoping to be me when he grows up.
Yo, true. It's like we got to go back to making these story characters feel like absolute badasses. Like, I think that
Impactful.
would be cool. But go ahead, Brutal.
Oh my
Sorry
goodness.
to interrupt.
No, you guys are phenomenal. Great show today. Great guests today. Go around the table one time real quick and let people know where they can find you and why they should watch you right now. Which, not that you guys need introduction or any help in that regard, but sell yourselves. Tell people what's going on.
Hello, everybody. I'm Marcellian.
I'm Flame. Make sure to check us out on youtube.com/Marcellian name pending changing.
Notwithstanding. Twitch.tv/Marcellian and Flame. See you there.
Yeah. I mean, you watch us because you love us. That's it. We don't need any other reason. Come on.
That's crazy. My name is Sky, but the brand name is The Comeback Kids. We do YouTube content guides on all things World of Warcraft. We also have a second channel, The Comeback Kids TV, where we do short form content and just more casual, laid back stuff. So if you guys are interested, check us out. And yeah, there you go.
Man,
And also, make sure to drop a follow, like, sub on Brutal Static here as well, who made this all possible.
how
True,
generous.
true.
How kind.
course.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I try not to shine too much of a light because it's on, we're doing this on my channel, so I really don't like the follow me
Yeah,
kind of a
follow,
thing. But
Put in the work,
Follow,
man.
subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit
appreciate
the
it.
like, comment, help the algorithm gods pump it up. Come on, boys.
Share with
No,
your
that's-
friends.
you guys are too kind. Too kind. Listen, anyone who's been watching or listening, if you have anything in relation to what we've been talking about, please leave it in the comments below. Share the video like they just said. You guys are fantastic. Give yourselves a round of applause. Absolutely great job today. Episode 12. That's a wrap on episode 12. You guys can get out of here. My name is Brutal. Make sure, like they've been saying, follow these guys. Subscribe to these guys. Listen, midnight's a month away, man. I'm genuinely more excited now than I was 2 hours ago after talking to you guys. So great
I
job.
was hoping I could go.
That sucks because I got a little bit more depressed. All right, guys, I'll see you later.
You guys have a great day. Thank you guys for watching. My name is
Thank you
Brutal.
for
That's
having us.
Marcellian and Flame. That's Sky from the Comeback Kids. We'll see you next time. You guys
Bye.
killed it, man. You guys did a great job today. Sincerely, absolutely fantastic, man.
I was holding the part in the entire time. What? No, you. What are you saying?
Dude, but I know you. I know. It's not a joke. That's how he rolls.
That's all
I
right.
hope you guys enjoyed the process. I hope you guys felt like
hell
this was
yeah.
worthy of your time. So
I felt like we could have gone on for at least.
I
3
know,
more
man.
hours.
I always have this desire to be like, let's just keep talking, let's just keep going. But it's late for you guys, and everyone's got a schedule and stuff. So I do my
post process all of this.
I try to respect everyone's time. Like if I say, hey, it's going to be an hour and a half, it's going to be 2 hours. Let's stop there. Otherwise, I feel like I'm taking advantage of you. So you guys are phenomenal.
Feel free to take advantage of us. Treat us like your
Believe me,
for a little while.
I'll be asking you back for what I'm calling season 2 of the show, which will be during season 1 of Midnight. So I can't
hell yeah.
wait to circle back. It's
Listen,
gonna
if
be
I
fun.
come back, I want Marcellian and Flame again, dude.
What do you
These
mean,
guys
if?
are awesome. Yeah, if you want me back anyway. But these guys are great. I love chatting to these guys, dude. I've been watching their stuff
Oh,
for
same here,
10
man.
years. So
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Being able to
Yeah,
connect
maybe you
with
get
people like this.
Arenas again.
He doesn't have to convince me. Midnight has to convince me, man. That's what he said. So, like, listen, if they do PvP right,
Yeah,
Oh, man.
I saw the PvP credits in the QA section. Yeah,
Dude, listen, like if like the classes are simpler, it's gonna be fine. If have you looked at how PvP was in World then, like tracking trillions of billions and shit,
Oh.
plus
I heard they were using weak cars. I checked out.
Yeah,
that was
I
crazy.
can't do that for PvP, man. The amount of add-ons you need to get into it right now is a fucking nightmare. And man, have you ever seen Ben Ruki talk about PvP? It's every other
Yes.
day. He's
Yeah.
major doom and gloom. He's like, this game is shit. Help us, like every 2 seconds. And then now, I'm hopefully, it gets a little bit better. But sheesh,
I
man.
think so. I believe so. I believe it's going to get better, at least from the standpoint of classes being more simple,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the fact that they're prologuing CC. So I kind of like that. More strategic gameplay, less
I agree.
give me flavor of the meta. 2 seconds dead. Come on, man.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
is
yeah.
that? There's no more skill involved.
Except
Just-
for the only thing I will say is I think Subtlety Rogue is going to be a fucking nightmare to deal with in PvP now because
I've
how
seen-
brain dead easy they are. Oh my god, he's like, yeah, dude, that shit is gonna suck.
Say no more.
Yeah, shit is gonna suck to deal with. I
Yeah.
don't know.
But it was lovely. Thank you, Bruno,
Yeah, thanks for grabbing us.
course,
making this
man.
possible. We had a great time, and yeah,
Oh, yeah.
if we can, I would love to have the same formula with Sky as well. Blasting shit up. It's a beauty, and it felt natural. It felt like
Yeah, yeah.
smooth. It's
Yeah,
absolutely. We are
It-
100% down for it.
I will absolutely be begging you guys to come back on because I love anytime we can sit down and like you said, it's just a conversation. I've tried this to shift away from things being like there is a purpose behind there being a script, obviously. But when it can feel that more authentic and more just casual and let's just talk about a game we love, it works better, obviously.
Oh yeah, 100%.
right,
When the vibe is right, the vibe is right.
Get out of here. Go away.
All right,
Get out.
all right.
You got lives
Much
to
love,
live.
you guys.
Take it easy, guys.
I
Take it
appreciate
easy.
you
Peace out.
so much, man.
Have a good one, guys.
Much love.
Great episode, fantastic episode, great guests all around. I mean, I dare I say that might have been the most just a flowy episode as of yet. The episode that kind of just rolls with the punches, and I wasn't just lobbing question after question. I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal. My point is, it felt just really good. Just felt really, really good. I'm glad you stayed up too, Slabby. We barely even talked about EverQuest, dude. I anytime I see an opportunity, I'm gonna slide it in and sneak it in there. Oh, real quick, I said this on Friday for the stream. I have jury duty tomorrow, so I will not be streaming, sadly. I don't know if maybe I'm not, asked to stick around. Maybe I'm asked to stick around all week. I don't know, but I will not be streaming tomorrow because of that. So if you tune in tomorrow, you will see nothing because I won't be online. Yeah, today's episode was awesome. It's great until someone pulled out the mug. I'm not sure what you mean, Mr. Drewish. Thanks for the podcast coming in from Marcelli to Flame. Definitely hit the follow button. Thank you. I appreciate that, Alex. I really do. Manu had the perfect chance to talk about PvP. Oh, man. Are you saying man? You had. Is that what you're saying? Yazan? What's EverQuest? I'm glad you asked, Scar. In March of 1999, a little company known as Verant Interactive? I can't even remember what it's called anymore. Verant launched a game called EverQuest. Now, Verant was owned, I think, by Sony Online Entertainment, SOE. But I'm getting ahead of my... I'm kidding, don't worry. A dead game no one should play. It was nice knowing you, Law, Brutal, and will now disown you. I do think I like the polls that you put out. Makes it feel very involved with the viewer. Good, Phoenix. Here's a question for you, Phoenix. Right now, they're just a Google. It's just a Google form. Let me ask your opinion, Phoenix. Do you think it would resonate better, translate better, however you want to describe it, if it were a live, like Twitch poll? Or do you think having a link to a Google form... I don't have an opinion. I personally don't care. Either one, it's neither here nor there for me, but I'm curious what you think. Scream at the judge for the Alliance or for the Horde, one may get out of there. Yeah, so Yazan, I have been asked on a couple of occasions about a PvP episode. I'm not a PvP, I'm still holding the mug. I'm not a PvP guy. I couldn't care less about PvP, but never say never. Never say never. The thing is, if I'm going to do a PvP episode, I want to get some extremely accomplished, experienced PvPers who also have an audience. And I know Vinrucky, I think, is one of them, but I don't know any PvP guys or gals. So I'd have to do a little bit of research and a little bit more work on my end. But never say never. I've made it to 34 without having been asked for jury duty a single time and actually want to do it. I'll trade you spots tomorrow, monkey. Where's my stream mute? Mods unite. Oh my god. Santiago, you're awesome. The episode was awesome, but so are you. Why not both? One pre and one during? I don't even remember what I said. 16. Get out of your slab. I love you, buddy. Brule, I forgot to tell you, I got to house level 6. Ooh. Oh, and your house is now unbugged now. Nice. I'm glad it's not broken anymore. I've got a family that's waiting for me. I've got an episode to edit. I've got some stuff I got to do. Oh, by the way, any of you guys out there suffering through this storm? It hasn't hit us too hard. It's currently 14 degrees outside, so well below freezing. I've been keeping a close eye on my pipes. No issues with the pipes. Got a space heater running downstairs. Got a couple of taps open. The water bill is going to be quite high this month, but it beats pipes bursting. We've only been in this house for about a year and a half, so trying to find that sweet spot of not needing or feeling like I have to worry about something while also not being stupid about it. So it snowed a little bit last night, not nearly as much as I prefer, only like 2 to 3 inches. But yeah, it's pretty cold out there, but so far so good here at the house, thankfully. Let's see. He's referring, wait, 1 second. He's referring to the poll. Oh, okay. Why not both one pre and one during? Oh, thank you, Jerush. You're right. Live polls will be more in the moment, but the survey form seems like you might be able to look ahead of topics and answers, which would be good. Yeah, I think I prefer the Google form option, but I'm not opposed to live polls. There's also something to be said about having, you know, much like you guys are saying, hey, here's the Google form with the, you know, 5 to 6 discussion points. Fill it out if you want to. Cool. But if something fun or spontaneous or whatever pops up mid-show, boom, jump onto Twitch, the back end. Toss a poll your way. Nothing wrong with that. That's why it exists. It was awesome to hear a lot of the positivity in Midnight, the warranted negativity in the community around add-ons that started to get a bit draining. Midnight hype back on the table. Woo! You're covered in ice, 18 degrees. Shoveled the hole. You shoveled the hole during the whole podcast, Jay? Oh my god. That's horrible, man. Your poor back. Oh, jeez. We're suffering here mostly because I'm going outside often to check on the strays. I'm sorry, Scar. Bad here in Memphis, all ice. Oof. -5, and there's over a foot of snow. Wow, yeah, that's a lot, monkey. Please be safe, be warm. About a foot plus right now. It's still snowing. Wow, here, let me look out my window. Yeah, it's I've had my windows open during the episode today because it gets so, like, because I have my doors closed because I've got kids and I don't want to be loud. I don't want them running in mid-show. So when I close this door, dude, the heat builds up in this office because of my PC. Holy moly. And I have the heat on for the rest of the house. So I've got heat generating from my PC. I've got heat coming through the vents. So I've got both windows open. Like I said, it's about 14. It is 14 degrees Fahrenheit outside. And I'm still like, I don't need to be wearing this sweater, man. I'm hot. It's not too bad. But yeah, we didn't get hit that hard here in central Illinois, at least not where I live. Which is, I'm not complaining, obviously. Not... Sorry to anyone who is suffering. I do apologize, but I'm glad that we didn't get hit that hard. It's cold, but it's not horrible. You're still doing it, Jake? Oh my god. My washer froze and I can't do... Ooh, that sucks, Phoenix. Oof. It's okay, cuz we're doing what we can to keep them safe. They'll be okay. They may not feel super comfy, but they'll be okay. Yeah. And I mean, animals are... they're tough, man. They've been around a long time. All right. Man. You guys have been phenomenal. Feel free to follow. I will talk about it now that the podcast is over. I don't like promoting myself too much during the episode. But now the podcast is over, feel free to follow along. Click that follow button. Feel free to use a Prime sub if you haven't used it anywhere else. Make sure you jump over to my YouTube channel, sub to my YouTube channel. That means follow, to be clear. It's always so weird to me that it's follow me on Twitch, sub to me on YouTube. I wish the vernacular, the terminology was the same. Anyway, that's just not how it works. Thank you guys for being here today. I had a great time. I hope you had a great time. I thought this episode was fun, and I thought it was very authentic. That's just the word that keeps jumping in my mind. I think those guys did a great job just being themselves and talking about things that matter to them, which in turn matters to a lot of us. So I'm out of here. I will not be here tomorrow. Jury duty. I mean, I think jury duty is important. I don't want to skip a stream, but I got to. I don't want to get held in contempt. No, not held in contempt. I don't want to get in trouble with the law, is what I'm trying to say. So I'll be on hopefully Tuesday, if all goes well. I mean, there's a chance they let me go immediately, like, you know, within an hour or two tomorrow. So we'll see. Phenomenal. Ooh, I like that, Zarkin. All right, get out of here. I love you guys. Live well, be well, do well, eat well, sleep well, rest well, all things well, and go do some good. Like Scar. Scar's doing good right now for her. Oh, wait, let me find someone. Oh, wait, I got to find somebody to raid. This is important. Hold on. I almost forgot. Let me raid a channel. Stand by. Don't leave. I'm going to send you somewhere. I'm sending you to... No one's on. Dagnabbit. Who the heck is on right now? Nobody, apparently. Okay. That's nice. I'll send you to my buddy Luxthos. There you go. Love you guys. I'll see you whenever I see you this week after jury duty. So, adios, amigos. Be safe. For real. Be safe during the storm. Bye.